he didn't check. He wasn't using
yeah.
a map tracker, so he forgot an area. And we're off.
All right, let's go. So we're gonna see Sanctuary first from fantallis, just a big 20, and Fant is up then for the bombs and Link's House. So that's pretty nice. The Link's House start leading to bombs, so you don't have to buy them in Kakariko is pretty good.
Yeah, I think
weffjebster's gonna save and quit right away. To go Sank with those bombs, looks like.
Yep. I of the Forerunners, I like weffjebster's route so far the most, because with those bombs, he's going to be able to completely, except for possibly Bottle Vendor, clear out Kakariko.
Yeah.
We have our first big key, and it's Turtle Rock, which I think that basically guarantees it to be a pendant, right?
That's how it goes, but you'll have to go there anyways. So the tree pole was 8 bombs, so it didn't matter if you got that Link's House start. Everybody's going to have their bombs for Kakariko, so that's pretty good. I missed what Fant got in the secret passage there, but it looks like it was Power Glove.
That's a big deal. Not as big a deal. I mean, everyone's going to end up going to that passage, and all that it does for our runners is allows them to do the back of escape, which I'm sort of surprised Fant isn't doing now, but I guess he doesn't know about the tree pole.
Yeah, he does have the 3 bombs. I think if he'd realized, he would have gone to it, but it's kind of like a shock thing. Like, when do you ever have glove and bombs in those first 3 chests?
Was that what I thought it was?
Is that
big key to Ganon's Tower? Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's what we need to open the chest you were hoping for, so that's pretty good.
It's a good start. It's a good start. The Lumberjack Cave is useless. It's one of the 28 red rupees in the game.
Yeah, that's always a load off your mind. I hate seeing a small key there, and then you have to remember it, but it's probably just a Skullwoods key or something like that.
Yeah. All of the ledges, my favorite thing to see anywhere is a small key.
For a while, it sometimes feels like, yeah, why even check? It's just going to be a small key anyways. We got fantallis in blindside, grabs a small key to ice, some useless things, more bombs. The seed really is a blast so far. And some money in the back, so that's gonna be a good setup for the bottle vendor. And with the amount of bombs they have, they'll need to spend money there. So pretty nice Kakariko. But we'd like to see a trackable item.
Yep. I guess the seed is very much asking for plastic surgery. It's just like just mess me up. Destroy everything about me.
Alright, so nothing so far in the well, just a piece of heart. We'll just watch fantallis here, being in the lead, gets 10 arrows. Will there be something useful in Kakariko, please? A heart? A little heart? And the other glove! How about that?
We are Moon Pearl away from Dark World access. That is very fast. And if the Moon Pearl's in Kakariko, Fant's going to take a lead against fantallis.
Yeah, we could even see the rare. He could go straight to Village of Outcasts if he wants. Like, go race game and then walk back up maybe, but South Shore is pretty appealing, so he might do that first, even if he does find the Moon Pearl.
I would honestly do Village of Outcasts, especially considering your progression will be Titan's Mitts as opposed to Hammer. If it was Hammer, it would make a lot more sense to go South Shore because that's it's faster to get in to South Shore Dark World with the Hammer.
Yeah, good point. Small key to Turtle Rock in the tavern, so that's one of those out of the way. That's pretty much it for Kakariko, so just the glove, which means we'll probably see some race game checks, and then I imagine at least one person will go back of escape first, and then probably some divergence from there.
Was that a green rupee? Or a groupie, as I like to call it?
I actually missed it, but we'll get a whole bunch more checks in a sec. Some amount of green rupees. A lot of rupees.
50, I think?
Yeah. It's a pretty popular ledge. So I actually also didn't see what was in race game. I'm just missing everything here. But Fantallis' save and quit timing implies to me that he checked it and it wasn't anything good. So weffjebster and Vula doing the blind race game, it's just a piece of heart. Weffjebster is just going to pick it up. I mean, why not? You don't know how many hearts you're going to get. Not a bad decision.
I agree with this. If you've already done half the race game, it's totally worth just finishing it. Take the 3 seconds it takes to actually go do the race game. Whereas if you were just checking, it's not really worth the 10 to 15 seconds it takes to go back around and start the race.
It's definitely one argument for doing it blind. I mean, of course, in Keysanity, it's often a key or a map or something you'd kind of want. But, it's just nice to get, a piece of heart or 300 rupees or something that you might not go all the way around for, but if you're already there, hey, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Vula doing the eastern area check, and checking the island, seeing that is completely useless before going here. I do like that check. It's pretty quick.
Yep, Fantallis is going to be doing the front of escape with bombs. I'm actually kind of surprised nobody's gone back of escape yet. It seems like might as well just do it as soon as possible, but I mean, they'll get to it quickly enough, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Green Pendant Swamp. So maybe there is a hook shot in the Ganon's Tower big key chest. Big chest, rather.
That's what's required. The other thing that would be required to make a bow in the big key chest is both Eastern and Pod being big key pendants.
It's always fun to play the game of how nasty the seed can get. So if we get all of that together, you could have the hook shot that leads to the bow in that chest. Why not?
Hookshot leads to bow in Hookshot Cave? Oh, goodness.
Oh, man. Brutal. Okay, so weffjebster in Mini Moldorm Cave now took them out with bombs. Gets a bomb upgrade, gets 20 rupees, gets a small key too. Turtle Rock, 2 already. GT, and there's the Pearl. So Fant's gonna have Dark World access pretty soon. He's heading over there right now.
We have Bombos. We can't actually use it right now with no sword, but it is useful to have one of those medallions out of Fantallis' screen.
Yep. My favorite medallion, Bombos.
It's I think, by far the most useful one.
Yeah. I mean, aside from just opening things, it actually kills stuff. It's great.
Quake's the only thing in the game that can hurt the dead rocks, though, which is fair, but most of the time you just want to not with those.
Yeah. I wish there was, maybe a glitch to shorten Quake's animation. If it was only 5 seconds long or something, I might even cast it on some annoying dead rocks now and again. Alright, so I haven't noticed anything important in Eastern so far for Vulajin. And I think we're just kind of waiting for somebody to... Okay, we'll see the back of escape from Fantallis. We'll see if there's anything big in here. We're picking up some more money in Eastern. And the back of escape, a piece of heart, bottle, and red rupee.
Which means Fant would have been, if he had, right after doing Uncle drop, gone directly to the back of escape, he would have been able to do bottle.
Yeah, that would have been slightly more efficient. If he does it right now, that would be pretty good, because he could do that and then just walk over to Kakariko, check the bottle, and then go into the Dark World, which would be a pretty good play, I think. So we'll see what he opts for. It's Link's house again, so maybe he wants to focus on the Light World first, so he's going to make the play on Eastern as well, along with Vula, who's currently in a Dark Room, and I'm assuming weffjebster is going over there as well.
Specifically Eastern Dark Room, one of the easiest Dark Rooms in the game.
Yeah, you hold one direction, you hold the other direction.
I recently learned Mire Dark Room. It's difficult, and definitely the hardest Dark Room in the game, but not as hard as I expected it to be.
I learned a pretty good trick for the first one where you have to get the block on the switch. I just fumble my way around until I get the pot open, and then you make a key in a Samaria block, you walk into the bottom left corner, and then you take a step right and a step up and throw the block, and it just lands on the switch. I found it way easier than pushing it.
That's fantastic. I will have to look into doing that. Anyway. I think at this point we're just waiting on our runners to go to Dark World.
Yep. People have to find their Moon Pearls. Fantallis will find it soon. Fant has it, he just wants to clear out the Light World first. Not a bad option. Their health is not too great. They don't have any mail upgrades, so the Dark World without a sword or anything to stun anything can be a bit of a pain.
Completely understandable. I am generally a huge fan of holding off on Eastern for as long as possible, because it's 6 items, but one of them is guaranteed to be, almost guaranteed to be out of sequence, if you get it.
And of course, you know, if you don't get anything there, you could maybe just do it in a single dip later. That's very appealing. I think it's a deceptively long walk over to Eastern and Pod. It feels like it's not too bad, but then when you actually time it, it's like, man, this dungeon is painful. Well, we're just having people clear each other's footsteps. Fantallis, done with Mini Moldrum Cave, has the Moon Pearl in hand now, so probably we'll check Ice Rod Cave, maybe Fake Flipper, maybe not, we'll see. And then likely be the first into the Dark World, I would have to guess.
I do like the Fake Flipper play with Moon Pearl. You get to check a lot of areas with it.
It's true. The 2 quick Waterfall Fairy checks, you get to look up Zora Ledge. They don't have enough money to buy Zora's item, but I mean, you can just go back there mirroring off of Catfish or something sometime down the line, perhaps.
Yep.
So our top race both has the Titan's Myth, and the bottom have yet to go to the Uncle Secret Passage area and pick that up, but surely they will soon. There's not too much left in the Light World that they can do. It looks like Fantallis will opt for a Fake Flipper walking back down there now.
And based on what we can see, it looks like the this seed wants you to do Bomb's Escape, because they're not really getting any other weapons before Dark World.
That's true, but all that was in there anyways was Bombos. It's just the Uncle area that mattered. But I mean, of course, I would not be surprised to see both Vulajin and weffjebster do the Bomb's Escape fairly soon, once they decide, well, there's nothing left, let's head up to Uncle and whatnot.
Both Vula and weffjebster going ahead and finishing... Well, I assume Vulajin's going to do Back of Escape.
Looks like you're right. I'd be interested to see if they really want to avoid the Bomb's Escape, if they go turn in this bottle first, or if they're just like, okay, fine, there's 3, well, I guess 5 items since they haven't been to the front yet. They just go for it. Might want to buy bombs first, though. You need at least, I think, 5 bombs to do it, and
yeah, it's 5.
It's kind of risky going in with just 5.
If you have a good number of hearts, which, I mean, they do. They have a lot of hearts. You can just hold the bomb and just walk up to the people you want to explode.
That's a good point. Looks like Vula, heading up now, will be opting for a check into the escape with his 5 bombs.
And Weff looks like he's going to check Agana. We're getting a Jesus Walk from Fantallis. In case you're wondering, this does require the Moon Pearl to be able to do, because the Moon Pearl sets a flag, which allows you to walk on water, essentially.
Oh, this is actually neat from Vulajin here. He reset his tree pull before he came into the Uncle, and he knows that the 1 kill tree pull is 8 bombs, so he's probably going to kill one of these green guards, and then refill his bombs fully with that. So that's pretty heads-up play there, going into escape.
Absolutely. That's very, very smart.
Alright, so weffjebster is about to see what is down here by the desert area. We haven't seen this yet. Fantallis is going to go to Houlihan Room from the looks of things, so wants the money for Zora. Everybody avoiding the Dark World so far.
Fant looks like he's finally going to bite the bullet and go to Dark World.
Yeah, that must be his play at this point. I imagine he'll check the bottle first, unless he already did and I missed it. But yeah, he's walking down, so we'll see what that is. I'm not sure if anybody else went there just yet.
I completely missed what Agano was. Did you see it?
I missed it as well. Okay, sick kid. I'll pay attention to this one. It's $20.
I mean, statistically, Aga was $20. Let's go with that for
You're
now.
probably right. I don't see anything new on the tracker, so that we'll go with that. So Fant will make the play on the Dark World. I guess Fantallis hasn't done Eastern yet, so wants to get these 3+4 items checked and get that information about the green pendant.
He might just check Sahasrarla's closet, save and quit.
That's possible. That wouldn't be a bad play. I mean, he knows he has Dark World access, so. But either one makes sense. Looks like walking down is going to be going into Eastern, so we'll have to watch Fant in the top right here, see what we've got in early Dark World. First check is nothing so far.
Vanilla chess game. I'm surprised they're not Fant is skipping the 4 chests in Skull Woods.
Yeah, he might be trying to go there perhaps a little bit later, maybe, hoping to get a... I mean, this is unlikely, but hoping to get the Fire Rod and a sword down here. Or maybe just even a boomerang, something to deal with the Tharn Gibdos in the big key chests area.
Boomerang is a big deal. Much more of a big deal than it is in the base game.
Yeah, when you don't have a sword, or, you know, the Fire Rod, or anything to help you out at all, that room can either go really well when the Gibdos just run into the block and let you pull it around, but when they don't, oh my gosh.
In case anyone is wondering, the Gibdos can be stunned by the boomerang but not the hookshot, and the skeletons are exactly the opposite. They can be stunned by the hookshot but not the boomerang.
That skeleton one is so weird to me. The boomerang does damage them just a little bit, correct?
Yeah, it damages them.
Okay.
Whereas the Gibdos are basically completely immune to hookshot. Anyway, our first chest in Thieves Town was a sword.
Oh, that's really convenient. That's going to help a lot with this Dark World navigation. Just it doesn't kill things very fast, but being able to knock them out of your way is really useful.
Especially if we get boots.
Oh yes.
Boots without sword is an experience, especially the first time you do it.
Certainly an experience. One might say a miserable one. It's always something fun as well about trying to do, you know, an item dash, not having the sword and just instantly bonking.
I feel like item dashes still work in the base game, though.
I don't know exactly all the details of it. All I know is you can't go through the hammer pegs if you don't have a sword. For some reason. Another Turtle Rock key for Fant. That's already 3. He's going to take a Death Warp out of Thieves Town here. And then we'll see some more Dark World from him. As we're looking like Vulajin's going to dip into the Dark World as well here. Fantallis doing the Dark Room in Eastern, so I imagine everybody's going to be following here shortly. And in fact, weffjebster is already in the Dark World, also making some checks, so it's Dark World time.
Yep. Vula, now the only runner to have gone north. He's going to miss out on that sword, but that's probably fine. You don't really need a sword for anything up here, except for the two jellies in the back of this area.
Yeah. Might just opt to skip that chest depending on what he finds, because that, oh my gosh, that room is a huge hassle with absolutely nothing to deal with anyway. I didn't even think about the jellies, but you make a very good point there. So Vulajin gonna find a new chest for us. It's just a piece of heart in the pot prison. And everybody in Skull Woods, Fantallis, it will shortly be there, just heading to the Dark World now. Got a map of Hera. Well,
I am very
whatever.
confused by weffjebster's like routing through this dungeon.
Did he not go to the pot prison? Did he just come over here to the right?
He just went straight here, and he's gonna death warp. This.
Oh, that's okay.
faster.
That's actually kind of neat. He's death warping back to the pit, and then he can use the key on the door in the pot prison room. That's actually kind of cool.
It's cool. I don't know that it's faster, but it's definitely cool.
But that's an interesting idea for sure. Alright, and Vulajin is going to opt out of going to the vanilla big key location in Skullwoods because no way to deal with the Gibdos. Huge pain. Fant is getting trapped by a Gibdo. Oh my gosh. He tried to slash it out of the way, wouldn't get it out of the way, and gets grabbed by a Wallmaster, so it's back to the start.
Fine
One
that he
health.
got grabbed by that Wallmaster. He already got the key.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now he can take weffjebster's route. We're gonna see, sort of, in a way. Vulajin, I guess, walked up to Bumper Cave, but I did not see what it was, so hopefully somebody else looks.
This is kind of hard to keep track of 4 runners at once when they're all in the same area.
We'll eventually see something somebody checks. So Fant took an intentional death there, he's at 1 health. And, you know, you really don't want to take an overworld death, so walking back into the dungeon, walking into a jelly, that's a little bit safer.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, Fant having a sword might go to the back here, and he will. So we'll see something new from Fant. Everybody else is kind of just tracing each other's steps at the moment.
So Fant rewarded for that Turtle Rock dip. I'm a little surprised that weffjebster didn't dip in Turtle Rock. Thieves Town dip. I'm a little surprised weffjebster didn't dip into Thieves Town and get those four chests earlier. He did go to Village of Outcasts before going up to Skull Woods, so...
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he was just hoping to find an item for one of the dungeons or the other, and we can see Fant, even with the sword, this room's a huge pain, because, oh nice, he got them blocked off now, that's really good. Killing these Gibdos is completely impractical with the fighter's sword, so all you can do is knock them around. We're gonna see fantallis take a shot at this room as well. Single arrow, and a single slash.
Is it 16 shots with fighter's sword to kill these guys?
I think that's right. Fantallis is bombing the jellies, and this, oh my gosh, this is so brutal. You just have to hope that these Gibdos get into a good pattern. I'm sure there's some like ways to manipulate them, but I admittedly have never looked at this room in great detail myself, so it's in my mind just a huge pain. But fantallis gets through pretty nicely. I don't think taking a single hit from the Gibdos, just having to wait for them to be in a kind of better spot and get rid of those there jellies without a sword.
Fant is checking.
So we'll also get the single arrow. And oh, Fant's checking Bumper Cave. It's the silvers! Holy smokes.
So there's 2 basic reasons that I would want to get the silvers, and there's only 2. One is silverless is slower than Ganon with silvers, and the second is Vidi is awful. Vidi is like, I would say Vidi's probably the hardest boss in this game.
Especially, I mean, we have 1 sword, but that might be all we get for a while. Vitreous with the fighter's sword is just really, really terrible, and the randomizer has no qualms about making you do it.
Absolutely.
So I think we'll maybe see people go for those silvers depending on their sword status. I feel like if they have tempered, we'll see a lot of them skip it, but if it's worse than that, then, you know, if you find the cape, or if you're perhaps in possession of the cape and going to check Graveyard Ledge with the mirror or something like that, then maybe a quick stop in Bumper Cave to grab silvers would make some sense.
Yep. Weff is doing escape with sword, which I like this play, actually. I think he's going to save time on the people that did it with bombs.
Yeah, I think you're right. We see Vulajin, he's already succeeded the digging game, but he wants to keep going because Zora's in the logic, and he's never done it, I believe. So, trying to get closer to that 500 rupee mark.
Yeah, none of our runners have done it. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to go do Zora, he decides to do Houlihan Room right before.
Yeah, he is pretty close at 423. I guess we haven't seen the stun prize because they have no way to stun enemies. Maybe just hoping for some rupee drops here and there. As you say, Houlihan Room could work, or 1 trip into, you know, one of the rupee farming rooms somewhere. This
is a lot of hearts. This is a metric butt ton of hearts. It is so many hearts that our runners have right now.
I like these healthy seeds. It's always uncomfortable playing on, 6 hearts or something like that.
Yeah.
So one difference we're noting here between Vula and Fance, Dark World routes is Fance bringing the blacksmith with him. And we see Eastern, was that Eastern and Thievestown for the 5-6? I think so.
Yeah. I trust our tracker, and they're saying Eastern Thievestown.
Nice. Was that more hearts in Hype Cave and what else? Map of Ganon's Tower? The lamp? That's pretty nice. More red things and even more red things.
Absolutely. Lamp usually not required, but still nice to have.
Yeah, it is their first fire source, so it might be used handy, and not having to do the dark rooms. No matter how much you practice them, you're always going to be faster in the light, so it's nice to have. Fantallis taking death there. I think that's an intentional death for him out of Thievestown, judging by where he was before. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. And we see the slow, mirrorless blacksmith turn in from Fan. Not a huge amount of options left at this point. They can't get all the way over to Palace of Darkness without flippers or the hammer. So hopefully we don't have to see some painful blacksmith walks from, Vula, who skipped it. Or we'll see if Fantallis opts to go back and pick up the blacksmith. But I mean, they could do purple chest now. It's just really, really, really slow.
Yeah. So, if I'm reading this correctly, the only keys we've gotten so far have been useless small keys and all of our keys for the end of the game.
Yeah, we're ready to go to Turtle Rock. We just need, about 50 more items first.
Fant finds Quake in
the blacksmith.
Blacksmith.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
And Fantallis is going to pick that blacksmith up as well. That could be significant, that Quake medallion. Not for just now, but in the future. Looks like Fant's going to take this lamp, clear some one-offs. I'm guessing this is the back of Escape Sewers area check. Just to grab this one and get it out of his mind. There's our first pod key from Vulajin. 27 minutes in, that's our first pod key that we've seen on the Death Mountain there.
It's pretty late. Well, we do know, I can jokingly say that we can figure that one of the pod keys is probably in Turtle Rock and another is probably in pod itself, because that's just how Keysanity seems to work these days.
Hey, you know how they can do the 1-for-1 key exchanges now? Where you open a door in Palace Darkness and you get a key back? I'm hoping that someday they change it so you can get loops there, so you open the lava chest in TR. Ooh, Fant just got the mirror, that's pretty good. And then it gives you a pod key, and then you use the pod key to get the TR key back. But the mirror opens a little bit more stuff, a couple more Dark World checks, and... Oh, has Fant never done the back of Escape? This actually makes a huge amount of sense now. And by the back of Escape, of course, I mean the front, because that's where he is. He did the back of Escape long ago. Okay, so what else is going on? Fantallis just finished up Hype Cave. Weffjebster heading back into the Dark World here. Vulajin's walking down to the desert area, so he's going to check Akan's Cave. And Fantallis will get Quake soon with this blacksmith in tow. We're going to look at the desert ledge as well, and it's a small key, so yay. Can't get there yet, but good knowledge to have. So let's think. There's really not a ton of stuff. The mirror is probably going to lead to something. Graveyard Ledge, or Cave 45, dare I say, the first chest in Swamp. Ooh.
The big thing the mirror leads to is Hera.
Hera. You're right. And of course the first chest in Swamp is impossible if they don't have the flippers. But Hera is a very good option. I know Vulajin went up to Death Mountain because he took the old man up and got the Palace Darkness key, so he probably looked at Spectacle Rock, so if I was paying attention I would know what's on that. But I don't.
Weff gets to do the blacksmith and the purple chest with the mirror.
That's so much better.
Yeah, he's also going to be able to check south of Grove Cave on his way to turning in that purple chest.
Yeah, so nice efficient route from him here. That's going to save some time. And we'll see a couple new checks from him. I think weffjebster is the only one in position to check anything new right now. Everybody else is just walking around the light world, moving towards the dark world. Fake flippers from fantallis to head towards the witch. And this may lead to Zora. He already did the waterfall game, so doing it from here is pretty interesting.
Okay, 45, just $20 more. Anyway, so that's actually one of the big reasons I like Keysanity better than Open or Standard, because all the things that Open and Standard punish is rewarded by Keysanity. What I mean by that is you're really encouraged to try and make sure that you can clear dungeons in 1 or 2 max goes in Keysanity. Because you save a lot more time doing that than you do skipping random chests in dungeons and possibly having to go back. And it's completely the opposite in Open and Standard, where if you can skip dungeons, if you can skip half the dungeons, Left to Swamp being one of the main examples, you can get really highly rewarded for doing that with like 15-20 minute time save.
Yeah, that's for sure. It becomes a lot more about efficiency than, calculated risks.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see what Zora has. Fantallis is up there now, and what do we get? Is it a life lesson? Yes. Don't give your money to a fish. That's what Zora says today.
Do we remember what was on Zora Ledge?
It was nothing useful. I remember we saw it earlier. I'm pretty sure it was nothing useful. But I could be lying.
Fant is finally checking our Tower of Hera.
Yep. Vulajin unfortunately just did the mirrorless blacksmiths and is now going to find the mirror moments after. Big key 4 Eastern, which that's an unfortunate big key because it opens 1 item, but it's a very long walk for just 1 item.
Did all of our runners do Eastern early?
Hook shot in the back of Hera there on the
that opens up
floor.
the entire east side of Death Mountain.
Yeah, Fant's gonna go right there, surely. Just jump right down and go over. There's a ton of chests that he can check right away, so that is the progression we were looking for. And with Titan's Mitt Moon Pro hookshot, we have the entirety of Dark Death Mountain as well, so this is big payoff for Fant right now. Bula grabs the mirror. I think Fantallis still needs to get that mirror, but is probably running low on locations, so we'll go over there soon, I hope.
Well, he might be going to Death Mountain without the mirror.
Oh, he has it. Never mind. I'm crazy.
Yeah, all of our runners have the mirror, so we just have to wait for our runners to get to Death Mountain.
Yep, and immediately, we aren't kept waiting. There's some flippers, so Fant's got more progression already. Well, we've already seen a lot of the flippers stuff checked by Fantallis' fake flipper efforts. But I don't think we saw Hobo, and eventually you'll need those flippers for Swamp, most likely.
Fantallis' fake flippers...
We need another...
F,
yeah, we need some alliteration there. Maybe chat could help us out. Some kind of word that means adventure that starts with F. And the bow for Fant in Paradox Cave. Which makes that Eastern big key suddenly a lot more appealing of an item.
Eastern is completely in logic now.
Yeah. Still can't get to Pod, unfortunately.
So Fant has a small key for Eastern Palace. That means that he went into the dark room, got the small key, but didn't use it.
Huh. I do not remember that happening at all. Maybe he got too lost in the dark or bodied by, you know, those skeletons or something. I don't know. I really did not notice that happen. At worst, that would mean he missed out on the vanilla big key chest, which was nothing. But he'll have to go back around and check that for his own peace of mind, if nothing else, on his next visit. Half magic in Super Bunny Cave. So Fant is getting absolutely everything, and Fantallis and Vulajin following suit. So get a look at the Turtle Rock medallion here. Fant's going to check Floating Island first, which is just a single rupee, so don't need that.
We don't want rupees in here.
Okay, let's look quick. That was quick, so everybody has it.
Fant did escape, right? He did it when he was doing... So he's got to have the bombos.
Yeah, he has bombos, I think. Just not quite updated yet. He also has the Master Sword, which I think I completely missed pointing out. Probably was on Death Mountain along with everything else. We'll watch Vula and Fantallis go through this. Yeah, Vula just found it. He's in Paradox Cave. There's a Fire Rod in Hookshot Cave. This is a completely loaded mountain. Holy smokes.
That was 2 big keys and 3 progression items? That is absurd.
Yeah, oh, that was not a Fire Rod, that was an Ice Rod. It's impossible to tell. I was so sure of myself, too. You saw how confidently I was.
Yeah, I didn't...
Fire Rod.
I didn't say it wasn't. Like, I agree.
Alright, so Fantallis and Vulajin will soon get everything that Fanta's just picked up on Death Mountain. We're seeing the slow walk through Spiral Cave from Fant right now. Weffjebster's heading up to Death Mountain as well, so everybody's been forced into this play. You've got to go to Death Mountain because there's nothing anywhere else. Everything's up there. Cane of Burna. That makes you think, Spike Cave, but you don't have the hammer, so nothing happening there.
Honestly, what Cane of Burna makes me think is, blind isn't going to be hard.
Yeah, that's always nice. Just turn that thing on and basically go AFK. Okay, so Fant looks like he's going to go with the first item he found first, the flippers. We're going to get some checks to the flippers spot. Just a piece of heart on Lake Hylia Island, so we won't see a visit to that. And I believe we're going to see Hobo. I'm not sure if Fantallis did this one or not. I don't... Oh, maybe he did, actually.
So,
it's hard to...
Oh, we don't have hammer, but I would have liked Fant probably to go into the Dark World first before going to Hobo.
Do the mirror route up, perhaps. You can go to Catfish and then mirror to Zora, since you have the flippers. It's a good point. That would be a pretty efficient route. Maybe we'll see one of our other runners take it, because everybody's going to have pretty much the same material. I mean, probably not Fantallis, because Fantallis already did a ton of this swimming, but maybe Vula or weffjebster can save some time with that. Oh, and actually, now that I think about it, Ice Palace is in play right now. Bombos, the sword, Titansmith. Maybe not the most pleasant time to go to it, especially missing that big key, but... And missing a hammer. Alright, this sounds like a worse idea the more I think about it.
You can't actually do much of it without hammer.
Normally, vanilla spots for items are some of the worst, but I have to say that Hammer and Ice Palace is just awful. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone.
I've gotten it twice, and it was awful both times.
Oh, just reconfirming that Zora's Ledge is just 20 rupees, so... Not a big deal there. Zora himself had nothing useful, so... Fant and Vula will just be hanging out for a bit. Fantallis grabbing all of the loot on Death Mountain, and weffjebster will be doing so shortly as well. So what do you think we're going to see next? There's a lot of stuff open to these runners right now.
Personally, there are 2 dungeons we can do, and one of them we can full clear. So it's got to be Eastern Palace at this point. They may go the pod route to Eastern Palace.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. With the flippers now, they can get over there. It's a bit of an awkward Dark World walk, but you could get Graveyard Ledge done. You're up close to Catfish, so if you want to be thorough, you could maybe do, Graveyard Ledge, Catfish, Pyramid, and then head over to Pod Eastern. Be a pretty good play, because you might eventually have to do that walk to Pod anyways. And that might be what Fant's going for. Quick map check here, saw that Hera was a crystal. I did not see which number, but I guess it would not be 5-6, because we already know those.
Yeah. The big thing, I think the trolliest place that Hammer could possibly be is second chest and swamp, especially in Keysanity.
That's brutal. Weffjebster does not like these mini Moldorms and is going to bombos the last one to send a message. I support that. Oh,
Can't do that,
oh
Jeff
no,
Webster.
He's out of bombs. He can't hit the switch.
Oh, that's
really bad. That's the bow and the Master Sword back there, and to get a bomb on East Death Mountain, you need a bomb to open the shop. So unless he gets one as a drop, this is bad news.
No, there's a. Oh no, you're right. You need a bomb to open the shop. The Dark Mountain shop, does that have bombs?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out here. Because, yeah, this one is open, right? This other door, the one on the right that he's coming up to, that's a shop, I think?
It's definitely a shop.
Okay.
I just don't know what's in it.
Well, we'll find out. I don't think there were any bomb drops in these chests, but man, that's gonna be really painful. We'll walk all the way back up, getting bombs somewhere else, going to Mirror, or well, no, they have the hook shot. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought, but it's a frustrating time loss for sure. I completely missed where the big key to Thieves Town was, but Fant has it, and he's doing Thieves Town now.
It was Hookshot Cave.
Okay. It's just glancing around at the trackers, it's like, oh, almost everybody has it. Whoops.
Webster doesn't have the... Oh, because the bow was... Oh, okay.
Yeah, the bow and the Master Sword is what he missed out on. We'll get the Ice Rod. Okay. Yeah, it's an Ice Rod. It's not going to lead him anywhere else because it's useless on its own.
No, if he gets the Ice Rod, he can finish that.
Oh, yeah, he can shoot the ice. Okay, yes, he doesn't need bombs. He can shoot the Ice Rod over the thing. Perfect. That's a new one. I hope he realizes that quicker than I did and makes that play. Doesn't leave Death Mountain without those critical items. So one thing of interest to note, both Fantallis and Fant are making the same play to do Thieves Town now. Neither of them have the hammer or the small key, so the big chest will go unchecked. And Vula's opting for a different approach. He's going to be thorough on the east side of Dark World, Catfish, probably Pyramid, and then a Pod Eastern visit. So this could play in big. Gets a Castle Tower key as well, which is open and unchecked so far. So 2 items there in addition to the Pyramid item. It's making this...
And he can mirror to check that.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a great route for Vula here. So I'm hoping that Fant and Fantallis don't get bitten by... Oh man, the small key of Hera. Goodness. It's an item nobody wants to see, I think.
Weff is going back with that Ice Rod, it looks like.
Okay. This is good. Heading down to Mirror's push the block down here. It's a little bit faster. And then we'll use this Ice Rod to get the stuff. Never mind. I don't know which door is which. This cave's far too confusing for me.
It's the right door to mirror block the thing.
I saw him going around from his portal, and I was like, oh, of course he's going the fast way, but no, this is fine. So, round 2 with the mini Moldworms. Beating them up with the sword. And Fant's on to blind. Nice first phase there. Has the cane already equipped, so I'm imagining that phase 3 is going to be a little bit of a press Y and stand around.
Generally speaking, you do want to wait until phase 3 to do it, because this cane causes a lot of lag, and you don't want the cane going in between phases.
Oh man, so there's another small key to Castle Tower, which I guess will not be useful. We won't be climbing higher than what Vulajin's going to do now. There's only a point to get this item. There's no way Aghanim is useful because Lumberjack Cave was nothing, and we already have access to East Dark World, so... Fant and Fantallis will both get that for sure, and when they make their way to Pyramid, even if they don't do Catfish first, they'll be able to check this small key to Pod. So
That
being thorough before going to Pod is really nice.
Absolutely. With our bow and arrow, we can do left side, right side. We can't actually do much, but if a hammer is in Pod on either left side or right side of Pod, they're going to be able to save a key.
Yeah. I think it's always very interesting looking at how players approach their usage of keys in Pod, because oftentimes you can see, even when you have the hammer and the bow, it can be a good play to actually just burn it on the front door, depending on the amount of keys you have, because it loses you a lot of time to repeatedly do the mimic room rather. But, you know, they don't even have the option of saving it right now because of no hammer. Vula is going to do what you mentioned, and just mirror check the hobo here, so less swimming for him. Always nice to see.
Very, very efficient routing from Vulajin, and I am all about that efficient routing. weffjebster is going to go ahead and finish Eastern Palace, not going the long way. And that might be good depending on what's in here.
That's true. I mean, if you get the hammer in Eastern, you save a huge amount of time not walking across North Dark World. But as we saw as well, that North Dark World, the Pyramid kind of play, does get you another pod key, and they're pretty starved for those at the moment. weffjebster only has one. Vulajin is leading the pod key count with a rather underwhelming 2. But new stuff down in the bottom right on weffjebster. It's a piece of heart. Well, at least you get a 5-6 crystal out of this, so even if there's nothing on the boss, that is a step in the right direction. Fant's going to be grabbing the other Aga Tower key, which is useless to him, but the knowledge that Catfish is taken care of is always nice. Vula, I guess, he got hit with Kiki, so he's walking back here to donate another 10 rupees to the cause, and...
That happens to me. It feels like 50% of the time. Like, I do not know how to not get hit while I have this stupid monkey.
It's awful when you don't have the boots. Those darn jumping thingies, they get you. weffjebster almost got the one cycle on these Igors here, but has to wait for another eye to open, and we'll be going in Armos Knights, which we've not seen yet. Vula making a cool play, you know, opening pod and then doing Eastern first, of course, makes a ton of sense, because if you get a pod key here, then that saves you a bunch of time, and there's nothing in pod you can get, I guess, aside from the boots that would speed up Eastern at all, so just playing the odds. And weffjebster cleaning up Armos Knights, gets the boots. Hello. That's well worth it.
That'll definitely make the trek over to pod faster without the hammer.
Yeah, it's got to feel good about that. I'm not sure if it actually saves more time than, you know, skipping one of the walks to Eastern, but definitely brings it close and opens up some other locations to check. King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks now on the table. And if there's anything on ledges anywhere, the Bonk, well, I don't think the library was anything, and of course we haven't seen Desert's Torch yet because they don't have access to that.
Library was 50 rupees.
Right, the groupies, I remember now. So we're going to see Bonk Rocks first. Fant's making his visit into Agate Tower. Fantallis did the first room of Swamp just now, but leaving, of course, it wasn't the Swamp small key. I didn't see what the item was, unfortunately.
Blue mail.
Oh, well that's pretty good, but probably would have rathered a Swamp small key. Fortunately, this is not the original version that introduced Keysanity to the general populace, which had a Swamp small key there 10% of the time. That bug got fixed, and now it's more often in a fair location.
I think the big problem with that bug wasn't that it was small key 10% of the time. It was that was small key 10% of the time and couldn't be anything else. It couldn't be anything useful.
That's right. And I think it was also another 10% distributed through, the back chests of pod or something like that. It was weird quirk of how Keysanity works. Vula cleans up the Armos Knights. We'll be happy to see his boots. We'll certainly see him dip into pod next, which I think is going to be our first real check of pod here from anyone. Fantallis and Fant are both making their way there. And both... Okay, did Fantallis check Egatower for that other key? I am not sure. But that could be a big deal. We'll know for sure once they get into pod, if they have 2 keys or just 1. Okay, so some new stuff from Vulajin here. First chest in pod. What do we got? The book.
That opens up the Desert Palace.
And both tablets, since they already have the Master Sword. We haven't seen anybody... Oh, of course we haven't seen anybody check them. What am I saying? They just got the book.
I'm going to go ahead and say they also haven't checked the pedestal, despite having been to Kakariko at least 3 times.
They could have tried to
JK.
read those glyphs,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure you could make sense of them if you squint hard enough. Alright, so we're seeing the Mimic Room, the first Mimic Room pass from Vulajin, with only 2 keys in pod. I would not be surprised at all to see him make several trips through this to save that front for key. But as I say that, of course, he doesn't have the hammer, so he doesn't have that option unless he finds it in one of these 2 chests. And he just gets bombs. Last chance for a key save. It's a small key to Turtle Rock, the 4th one. That one's always a relief to get because we don't even have Turtle Rock access yet without the cane. So you don't even have to think about it. I think everybody will find all 4 Turtle Rock keys. I think they were all in pretty straightforward locations, and nobody's going to have to skip the lava chest and then have it in the back of their mind the entire time.
Yeah, there's no way we're getting a weird, like, not full clear of Turtle Rock when we have access to it.
Yeah, and I know Vulajin in particular will be very happy to see that because he has a bad history with that chest. I believe one of his first Keysanity seeds put the fire rod there, and that wasn't fun. Alright, so more pod from Vulajin. We got some bombs in the back. Everybody else just doing kind of old stuff. Blottle with a B. And no more keys from Vula means he can't check Harmless Hellway. He can't check any of the 1-for-1s in here, so he'll probably just go back, do the hammer jump, see what he can get in the Dark Maze, and then I guess head out of here without a pod big key. Nothing else.
He needs to check the bottom of right below the vanilla big key chest.
I see. Okay, so yeah, he'll have to go through the Mimic Room again if he wants to do that, and that one is in the logic, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him.
He opened the front door.
You're right, of course, because he can't even skip the key. What am I thinking? Thank you for being here, Kems, to keep me grounded.
That's why there's 2 commentators, so that we don't just, like, say random stuff. Because I would do the same thing. I would just say random things and have chat making fun of me all the time. Chat doesn't do that all the time anyway.
Well, make fun away, because we deserve it. Alright, so we'll see this last chest here. Nothing of note in the Dark Maze. And what will it be? The last logical chest in pod for Vulajin right now? It is more bombs. Well, shucks.
Shucks is a good description of that pod. I think Vula has words that aren't shucks to describe that pod.
Well, you got the TR key out of it, so at least there's that. That's it, though. So everybody is doing this. I guess weffjebster will be making the faster walk over in that direction. There's a lot of items in pod, so it's a logical play right now, but nothing that really led them anywhere.
No, there's a book. The book opens so many things.
Oh, you're right. Once again, you're the best. And ice, of course, but no hammer. Oh man,
No
actually
hammer.
this is a crazy play. So the options, I guess, were desert.
I would say this
tablets
play
or ice.
is less crazy than the play that Fantallis made into Swamp.
That's
to be fair.
true. That's the dark memories of that key being there often. But having blue mail is pretty nice, though with the amount of hearts they have, you know, eh. So we'll see some progress into ice from Vulajin. If there is I was about to say vanilla hammer, but it's obviously not vanilla at all. If there is a hammer in ice, this is going to be a huge advantage for Vula in this race, but he could also just be wasting a bunch of time here if desert is the answer, so we'll have to see what he finds in these next couple chests. Fighting these darn Pengators without the Tempered Sword, I have to use the hook shot on them. This gets 300 rupees in the first chest, then we'll look to some other screens for a little while because there's no chests in ice for quite some time. Vula just has to progress for a bit and then eventually get to some other stuff. But everybody else, I guess, is just tracking over old territory. Fantallis and Fant grabbing the book, and you know, that's what's going on. So how are you doing, Kemps?
I'm doing fine. While we have a little bit of a lull, if you've enjoyed our commentating, if you've enjoyed watching these runners, give our runners a follow. Give me and my co-commentator Sigma a follow. We do this so to entertain you, and we hope you are enjoying it.
Yeah, and thanks to our trackers as well. We have a hard enough time as commentators even saying sentences correctly, as you can tell. And without them, we would absolutely have no idea what was going on, so thanks to them.
Thanks to our trackers, Cyclone and Dragon Master, making fun of us in chat while they're tracking.
Alright, so Vula bomb jumped here in ice, but if he doesn't find the hammer, he can't kill Colts there anyways. But getting the bomb jump fast, saying, yeah, I can do this. Might have to do it again later, but I can do this. I like the bomb strats, the bombs and bonk on these Pengators in this room. It looks so good every time. Okay, so actually, here's a difference that I didn't make note of when it was happening. Fantallis did not do this agate check for the extra pod key, so Fantallis' pod visit was cut considerably shorter than the one Fant, Vulajin, and weffjebster will be doing, because they had the keys to get to the back. Now, I don't think there was anything significant back here, but those locations weigh on your mind, because it's quite a few chests.
Absolutely. Peace of mind is what I call it when you can check areas early, as opposed to a piece of heart.
Okay, so Vula's made his way through ice and is now going to get a pod key. Goodness, if it comes down to these silly 1-for-1 chests in pod. I don't know. Oh, he was trying to do a bomb jump there to get to Ice Tea faster, but this actually works out because he didn't have a small key, so... I don't think he has the big key. No, he has the big key.
Yeah, the big key was in pod.
Oh my gosh, I missed everything. I should just look at the tracker. That would help me a lot. And that actually... Okay, now that I do look at the tracker, Fantallis missed out on that, so that was one of the things that other pod key led to. But since it was just an arrow upgrade, that's not actually all that significant. Okay, so iced tea
the hammer
chest
can be here in the iced tea chest, right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't think you need any small keys to get to this location, even if you don't bomb jump, so it would be in the logic as a place for the hammer. I also don't remember if we saw that chest to the right of the trap room or whatever, but since Vulajin is leaving, I'm going to assume he did it while I was looking away, and it was nothing.
He did check that chest. It wasn't anything.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because he has... Oh, yes, it makes perfect sense, because he had an Ice Palace small key going in, so he used it on that. He didn't have to go down and around or anything like that.
Yep.
It's just, felt a little weird, because normally you go there with the hammer and then you refund that key right away, but you had to just burn it, not have the hammer to get the guaranteed key under the block.
So Desert Palace is what we're waiting on, right? Like, we have to wait for our runners to go to Desert Palace?
Yeah, that or the tablets. Vula's gonna do some overworld checks that other people have already done in the meantime. And everybody's just kind of wandering around until they take this book, because as far as I know, that's got to be what's going to lead them to the next thing.
I think Bombos tablet into
Yeah, Bombos to desert is a good play. Walking up to Ether seems a little bit painful. Oh, they also have that Hera small key. I almost forgot about that. That at least doubles up with Ether, but man, I would.
Where
much
was that?
rather
Vulajin doesn't seem to have gotten that.
Oh man, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Everybody but Vulajin has it. Where was that? Maybe it was in Thieves Town? Which he's going to now, so we'll find out. And this makes a lot more sense because it's a dungeon he knows is a crystal and can complete. And that puts Pyramid Fairy in the logic, actually. If they could get there.
Does it really?
Oh my gosh, they could kill Aghanim, and that would give them Pyramid Fairy access. That's nasty.
They might be required to do Aghanim.
There's no way. I
to
thought it
get
was
Hammer.
dead.
Oh god.
Oh no. Now, there is a way to set up a water walk with the big bomb, but it's obscure as heck.
It requires hookshot. It is difficult to do, and weffjebster might be doing Aghanim right now.
Yeah, to do that glitch, you have to walk the big bomb all the way around West Dark World up to a pit by Skullwoods, and then you have to do some kind of fancy tricks to make it not despawn as you're dashing, and then you can take it through the water and get over to Pyramid Fairy that way. But Aghanim might be just a better play, because if you drop that bomb up there, you are losing so much time.
Yep.
And I mean, I have no idea how to do that. I just know that you can do it.
Recitador mentioning that Pyramid Fairy is not yet in logic because Thieves Town is technically not in logic.
That's a good point. But maybe the book leads to the Thieves Town small key. Because we do have a couple book spots that have gone unchecked. Man, I can't believe that in an hour in, the Aga Dream that I thought was long dead actually came back, and we're seeing it right away from weffjebster, so nice play from him. This is big.
He might not be actually checking.
Oh, you're right, because of course he hasn't checked this area yet. So he might just leave right now. It might be quite a while until we actually find out if that's
He's not. He's finishing it. He's making the play.
Oh, that's so huge. This is such a much more efficient visit than anybody else. If Pyramid Fairy is the answer, weffjebster is got a huge advantage.
That's a big if. That is a humongous if.
Yeah, the odds are definitely on the side of the book location still, because Pyramid Fairy is 2 items, and Desert is what? Lived Boots, so Torch, and one in the back. There's a small key on Desert Ledge, which we know about. And what else? The Hera small key and the tablet, so, you know, something like 6 locations still that could give them progression.
So,
plus,
on a scale of 1 to how Vulajin has been this entire tournament, how salty do you think Vulajin is going to be if weffjebster, like, gets a lead because of doing Aghanim early?
Oh man, if this was in a race when he was still 0-0, I would give him a 14 out of 10, but he'd just have to laugh about it at this point. I mean, Vulajin still made a lot of good progress. It's not over by any means, even if this is the answer, because like Vulajin has pod keys, extra pod keys that came from Ice Palace, which nobody else, well, except for Band, who's in there now, has gone to. So maybe a pod 1-for-1 key trade is the answer. Maybe this book to desert is the answer, or maybe weffjebster is making the biggest play of all time and doing the Aga, seeing what Pyramid Fairy is long before anybody else is going to think about going there. So Vula's finished up blind. I think that's about the last thing that makes perfect sense for him to do. So he has to venture into the nonsensical, go do some dungeons he can't complete, check some things that are a little inefficient, and maybe eventually work his way over to Aga. I'm so excited to see what Pyramid Fairy is, dude. This is gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. So all that can be in Pyramid Fairy, Hammer can be in Pyramid Fairy, but the small key to Thieves Town cannot.
Right. I think it's only the small key to Thieves' Town that's really blocked right now.
Yeah.
And I actually really like Vulajin's route here. He hadn't done purple chest yet, so he's gonna grab Cave 45, purple chest, and then go to Bombo's tablet and go to desert. It's really efficient use of his time.
Absolutely.
And we'll find out if desert's the answer pretty soon because Fantallis is in there. And there's not much to check here. There's that small key on the ledge, one chest in the middle back room, and the torch. And the potential option of stealing a key from the back, but that is a terrifying place. I'm not sure anybody's going to do that. Cane of Samaria. Which almost opens Turtle Rock, but without a hammer, still not enough. Maybe the answer is both. Hammer and Pyramid Fairy, and then you have to go to desert anyways to get the cane, and then go to Turtle Rock? Holy smokes.
So Desert Torch is not... So Desert is not the answer. Interestingly enough.
The small key takes you to Swamp. It takes you to Hyrule Castle. Wow, thanks.
Thanks for the small key, guys. Super useful, super useful.
So, Desert had the cane, but...
I mean, that's not inconsequential. The cane is important.
Yes. We know weffjebster will have to go there eventually, but...
You can't get into Turtle Rock without the hammer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is such a terrible aggro route they have to do too, because... you can't get back to the bomb vendor.
Oh god! So he has to go all the way over here.
Oh
to
my
the bomb vendor. Oh my god!
I was like, what's he doing? Why doesn't he just use the egg portal? And I was like, wait, how does he get down from there? Wow. This is actually horrendous. This seed is so mean. If this is the answer, that's just the worst thing I've seen in a while. Okay, what's... Maybe... Okay, he probably...
He
maybe opted out of... Yeah.
He didn't have a sword at the time, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have an easier time here. Master Sword. Ice Rod could freeze them. Or just, you know, knock them out of the way a little bit. That works.
We are getting 2 tablet checks.
Alright. We haven't seen Ether yet, and it's an arrow upgrade. So it's down to Hera Basement or Fat Fairy. Is there
down to Hera Basement or Fat Fairy? Yes, that's it.
And that's giving the odds in favor of Fat Fairy. It's we forced Aga, and now we're in.
I'm hoping for Hera Basement being Thieves' Town Small Key.
Oh man. Yeah, if it's that, then it's in logic. If this is... So Hera Basement is either the Thieves' Town Small Key or the progression. We know this, right? Unless we've missed something.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. What a treat. Everybody's just going around trying to eliminate every possibility. Because they don't want to face the dark truth, which is what this seed is doing to them.
Oh, Weff is checking the dark truth right now.
Oh yeah, he wants to know how deep the rabbit hole goes, because we're gonna get our first pedestal check from Weff right here. Get that book. And we have a sword.
Exactly what you wanted, it's not required.
It's a non... That's too good. That's too good.
Hammer is in the basement of Hera.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So that opens a lot of stuff. And makes Pyramid Fairy accessible without Aga, so we're not seeing a forced Aga. weffjebster did it, and he's probably going to follow through on the Pyramid Fairy check, so I hope for his sake that there's something in there, but man, that Aga time sink is going to be really painful.
Assuming, of course, that Vulajin doesn't do the same thing.
Right, but he's on Death Mountain now, so he resists the call of Aga. I think you know, in weffjebster's shoes, it made a lot of sense because he knew it was a possibility, and he was already halfway up the tower. So it's like, if I don't do it now, it just gets much worse later. I like the risky play there, but it really is gonna bite him here. We're gonna see a full Dark World loop before he manages to get the bomb in. Wow. So Fantallis heading over to ice. I'm not sure if this is his first or second visit here, but with the hammer, it's going to be a lot more efficient.
His first visit.
Yeah, first, that door's still closed, so yeah, he's going to save a lot of time in ice. Remember, Vula and Fant both went in here and got not a lot for their troubles. Man, that was a really exciting last 10 minutes. Need to catch my breath a little bit.
Absolutely. Weff, you need to check that ferry while you're here. Go back to Dark World. It's important.
Yeah, he's still trying to play efficiently. But the problem is he can't just jump off to desert here because he really needs this portal. So I think, yeah, Ether Tablet, Wombo's Tablet's going to be the extent of it. And then it's time to take a look at what this Aga play has brought. And you just have to, I just hope it's at least something good. Silvers or, no, Silver's on Bumper Cave, it can't be Silvers. He's even going to check the first chest in desert. He's at the end of his rope here. He's like, I need something. We've been run down to Tile Room as our actual answer, so everybody's just checking all these terrible locations and hoping that they find the right terrible one, but it's up on Death Mountain.
The right terrible one was Basement of Hera.
So Fant's making a synced play into the first chest of desert only with weffjebster. They're both going to grab their blue mail and their bucket of disappointment, and then move on out to their next bad option.
Weff, I think, is just like sitting there going, I could do Fat Fairy, or I could do just everything else first. How's that feel?
He's just gonna tantalize us with that Fat Fairy. I think it might be finally time. Finally time to see what we've got. And Vulajin is going over to Turtle Rock.
He can get in here, and he can do it. He can.
Yeah.
He can do most of it. He can't get. Either he can do most of it, or he can do just that first chest.
Yeah, I feel like with the time investment to go over here, he's probably going to go all the way to Laser Bridge. I mean, there's a lot of chests.
Oh, he has key. This isn't open. I'm not even thinking.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, this would be a crazy play in open. Fire Rod in the first TR chest, that was horrifying. But yeah, he gets the full clear up to, not doing Trinex, not doing the Fire Rod locked chests, but he gets Mimic Cave, he gets all sorts of good stuff, and this is really picking up here, because Fantallis is going to be able to clear Ice, Village is going to be able to clear T-Rocks. We're finally through our stalemate, and let's watch weffjebster. He's made his way to Pyramid Ferry, and what is he going to get? It's a small key to Skull Woods, and the flute! Okay, that's really good, because, man, that time sync hurts, but the flute really helps you check things efficiently, and it could lead him over to Mire, which nobody else is going to have access to, at least until they take the bomb up. I mean, they can take it up a lot faster with the hammer, but, with the hammer opening up large parts of the world, it could be quite a while until somebody else finds that. And the traditional save and quit out of the Dark World after you just kill Naga, and then mirror and save and quit again.
Yeah.
I do that every time. Uh-oh. Fancy Naga Tower. Uh-oh. He's going up! So the right side is getting baited by the Pyramid Ferry walkabout. The left side has found the true path.
It is not a huge loss until the left side have gotten their flutes.
Yes. I think the takeaway from this seed is I'm gonna learn how to do that water walk with the bomb.
Clearly.
That seems like a good use of, a few minutes. I'm sure there's a video on it somewhere.
I know there's at least one Plando that requires you to do that water walk.
Beautiful.
Because I think the first sword is in Fat Fairy, so you can't actually complete Aga 1 without Fat Fairy.
That's good stuff. Oh man, Vulajin with the green mail getting eaten alive by that skull. He did not want that to happen, so he's gonna save and continue, obviously. He's gonna go back down there. Got bunny beamed and then beaten up, so that's rough, but he'll be back there shortly. It's not a huge death.
I think he got
weffjebster's
hit
gonna show
once
us
by the... Go ahead.
Yeah, map of Swamp Palace, not too great. Blue Rupee, not too great, but I'm assuming he'll go to Mire if he has the medallion for it. I missed it when he checked, but we'll find out soon. Probably do Checkerboard Cave and then head back to Mire.
There's a really good chance that he can do it.
Oh yeah, very likely. And fantallis killing Cold Stare. Gets a small key to Pod. Those are always nice.
And now, it's 2 out of our 3 pendants we know about.
Yeah. You know, in a situation like this, only weffjebster knows about the pedestal. I'm assuming other people will check it when they go to do Skull, but, you know, a pedestal pull for the Tempered Sword could well happen. You've already got a couple pendants under your belt, but we'll have to see how that goes. Religion did take another death in T-Rock. This area is just really painful with the
This is the worst room in the game. Like, the Chain Chomp room, those Chain Chomps in Green Mail, they do at least 6, if not... I think they do 6 hearts of damage.
Yeah.
With just 1 hit.
Aren't they like the strongest enemy in the game aside from directly running into Ganon?
Lionels do a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so weffjebster is getting his Key of Samaria. Man, there's a lot of stuff happening everywhere. Fant is killing Aghanim and will be off to get his flute. But here's fantallis with the hammer, gonna be finding his flute a lot quicker without the long Dark World trek. Okay, so here goes Rula. Oh, I know why this room was so terrible. It's because he doesn't have the Fire Rod to kill the Pokey, so he has to do it with Master Spams, which are not the best way to fight Pokeys, unfortunately. But when you don't have Fire Rod and you don't have Tempered, here we are. But he's got it this time. Oh, the laser! It hurts. But we're gonna see the lava chest now. Alright, so weffjebster stepping into Mire. It'll be a while till he gets to the first chest, but that's gonna be new ground.
Was there anything in Ice Palace? Like, anything at all?
I know there was 2 pod keys, but I don't think there was anything else of note. 3 pod keys. Thanks, Cyclone. So, that opens up a lot of pod. They did have to burn a key on the front door, but as long as you do the hammer jump, then that's enough to check everything. Of course, not having the big key yet, Vulajin's adapted his strats and is dealing with double pokies with Cane of Burna, which is actually working pretty well, so that's pretty cool.
Definitely the right move here.
You don't want to take another death here before you get to the next save point. And of course, in true fashion, I looked away and I missed what the lava chest was, but nobody's freaking out, so... Oh, no! Gosh, he's at 1 health. Oh, that is horrifying. Okay, don't look at that eye. Just face away and okay. Everything's good. Alright, so let's watch weffjebster through Mire. He grabbed that bridge chest. Gula's quick intentional death there. Get that health back.
The worst thing he could do, like, is go into Mimic Cave, assuming that he's going to be able to do it damageless, take just a random hit, and have to walk all the way to Turtle Rock again.
Yeah, that'd just be really horrible. And sometimes these mimics are tricky. They can jump over those railings. Don't be fooled by their short legs. So Fant will get his flute. weffjebster doing the Mire checks. Mimic Cave gives us a small key to Swamp. That's a big deal. That's
it can be a
minus
big
the big chest. Oh yeah. Wait, is Swamp? Yeah, Swamp's the green pendant.
Yep.
Well, still a lot of items in there, and we're quite a few shy of Go mode right now, I think, so. It won't be a bad play, but you'd always prefer to go to crystals if you can. Fant is not happy about that flute. He's gonna slash the chest and then bombos it. Unfortunately, it's not going to lead him to the hammer. but it will lead him somewhere. And that will be Meyer, most likely. I don't think weffjebster has found anything of note here just yet, but the checks will be coming faster now that he's done with this, well, once he's done with this slow cutscene over on the left side of Meyer.
I love checks. Great cereal.
Yeah,
And
it's good
apparently the
stuff.
checks are coming.
Put that in trail mix, man. It's good.
Yeah. On the flip side, Vulajin has also found, just the swamp small key?
Yeah, I think that was it so far. We're getting the laser bridge checks in now. More checks. So delicious. So we'll get to see what that is. weffjebster, watching that cutscene, grabs a map of Turtle Rock. Bula's gonna cane this laser bridge for a little bit here. I know he has at least a red potion, which he might opt to use, or he might go for some laser skips, but he's hurt a lot with only green mail. Interestingly, being, I guess, oh hey, well, speaking of mail upgrades.
It's definitely going to help.
Yeah, he at least won't get killed by this last laser. So he grabs a mail upgrade, the Swamp Small Key, not a lot else. So he'll have to leave Turtle Rock now and think about his next play. Pyramid Fairy, pretty enticing, I think, right now with the hammer, but I say that knowing that the flute is there. So it might be Swamp. What else could you do in Vulajin's shoes here? A pod revisit doesn't seem too great.
I think Swamp is the play.
Yeah, Swamp, Pyramid Fairy are definitely the top options. And having not seen anything good in Meyer, maybe Swamp is the answer. So this Turtle Rock double dip could well be required in Vulajin to be in a nice position here.
Yep, nothing good in Meyer.
That's rough. And without the big key too, it's like, well, we'll have to come back here later. Lula dancing around a little bit. I think maybe he thought he had the shovel or something. But is now making his way over to this portal. We'll see if he goes up or down. Honestly, either play is fine. The flute is likely, I mean, it's useful, it speeds up your checks. Meyer may or may not be required, but it's a nice item to have. And Swamp, we know, probably leads somewhere nice. So
he's going for the 9 checks in Swamp.
That makes sense.
As opposed to the 6 chests in Meyer.
Yeah, and of course he doesn't know that the flute's there, so it's 9 versus 2 in his mind. So Fant's going to get his disappointment from Meyer. Fantallis doing the pod cleanup. We haven't seen all of these chests. Everybody else came with far less keys for earlier, so Harmless Hellway. Just a heart. And I don't know if he did the vanilla big key chest, but
based on the number
probably did.
and the fact that he hasn't finished, hasn't done the bomb jump here, he definitely has.
Yeah, so he did check it. I don't see anything amazing on his tracker as a result, so it doesn't look like anybody's going to get burned on the 1-for-1s. Oh, Powder was in Meyer. I completely missed that.
We both did.
On the first visit,
That's
but I just saw it. weffjebster's making the play up to Ether Tablet and likely Hair Basement, so he'll grab his hammer in short order, and then maybe realize that Egil was not required.
We might get another ether out of this. Like an ether. No, wait, you can't ether.
You come back later and then ether it then. That's the true full commitment to the chest manners.
Absolutely.
So Vula's gonna find some new stuff in Swamp pretty soon. Fantallis. I'm guessing this is the Turtle Rock visit, so because I don't think much else to do up here unless that Hair Big Key showed up somewhere, but I don't think it did. So we'll go to Turtle Rock. We'll get a Swamp Small Key and Red Mail, I suppose. That'll be that.
Yep.
Oh, weffjebster just mirrored out of the tile room. Does not have the... Oh, course he doesn't have the small key. He already opened the door. What am I saying? Why? I'm curious.
Did he open the door? Go all? Wait, yeah.
Yeah, he was in tile room, and then he mirrored, and now he's sitting on the pause menu. So, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. He is leaving the hammer. That's going to be really bad. Maybe he had kind of a similar brain fart to what I had there just now. Like, oh, I went into the tile room, but I don't have a small key. I can't check here basement. I don't have a small key. But yeah, so he probably still has stuff to do. I mean, well, what does he have to do actually? I mean, he already did Mire. Can check Magic Bat with the mirror using that powder out of Mire, which might lead to something.
So Skullwoods is our last pendant, which means we know all of our stuff.
Aha. So hey, if somebody does, I mean, if Vulajin finishes Swamp and then finishes Ice and then finishes Skull, he can just pull the pedestal right after you're done Skull. It's so convenient. Fantallis into Turtle Rock now. Fant getting his remainder of the Mire items, which doesn't amount to much, but that powder could lead somewhere. We're gonna find out right now. Vulajin gets the Desert small key over on Left Swamp, so Left Swamp leads the Right Desert. That makes sense, they're pretty close geographically. And let's look at weffjebster. What's he gonna get from Magic Bat? A blue rupee. Oh no.
Bloopies are the saddest rupees.
They really are. He's going somewhere quickly, so he has something in mind right now, but I don't know what it is. But it is good to see him moving because, you know, he's got to be running lower on locations. No, now he's thinking.
Ice Palace, probably. Because he can do some of Ice Palace. I don't know that he's dipped there yet.
That's true, and with the, you know, low pod key count on his tracker, we know pod keys were basically all Ice had, so yeah. He probably hasn't done this yet. Was trying to put off Ice without the hammer. Unfortunately, this is going to lead him nowhere, but it is progress into, I think, what will eventually be running out of everything he thought he could do and being a little confused, maybe revisiting Hera, hopefully sooner rather than later. Fant's gonna be cashing in on that powder as well, getting $5. Tempered Sword shows up for Vulajin and the big key to Pod. So that is your answer. How do we move forward? It's going to Swamp.
Yep.
And another big key to Mire. Oh my gosh. Turtle Rock to Swamp is really outstripping Mire in this case. Vula, having not gone to there, will be saving considerable time over everybody else who went. Wait, Fantallis go to Mire? I can't keep track of this all. I know the right side went to Mire. Fantallis didn't go to Mire because he doesn't have powder. So, left side is
left side is just making the plays, basically.
Yeah, the right version of those coin flips.
And Vula got Tempered Sword while we weren't looking.
Yeah, that was in the flooded room of Swamp, actually, so that pedestal looking far less likely. You wouldn't go out of your way to go from Tempered to Butter, but if you have to do Skull anyways, we might see somebody grab it, perhaps. And the big progression, of course, out of Swamp was the big keys, the Pod, and Mire.
Yep. And Vula probably going to go to Mire here.
Yeah, well, he does not have the flute yet, actually, because he never did Pyramid Fairy. So he might go to Pod, or he might do Pyramid Fairy. And dashing up rather than... Of course, okay, he doesn't have the flute. I was like, yeah, he didn't mirror and then flute, but I hope he goes, for his sake, to Pyramid Fairy first.
Yeah, this is Pyramid Fairy.
He remembers. I was thinking for a second there, it's like, yeah, you go the same way to get to Pod, in this case, but This will be good for him. Vulajin's definitely on the right track here. Fantallis will be there soon. Fant, realizing that he can do hair basement, will be grabbing his hammer. And given how he behaved when he found the flute, we may see, you know, a bomb or two, or perhaps a slash or a spell when he opens this
Similar
chest.
behavior, I think, is what you're trying to say. Similar behavior. Anyway, what do we have? This was nothing. Oh no, this was everything. Like, the Mimic Cave was...
Yeah, Mimic Cave was the Swamp Small Key. He'll of course go to Laser Bridge. It makes too much sense not to. And get just Red Mail, and then probably to Swamp. I think Fantallis has pretty much eliminated all other options. Already done Ice. Can't really make much headway elsewhere. Already did a lot more on Pod than everybody else, having more keys. So, that's the clear play. Vula's got the flute, and he's gonna, looks like, stay in the Dark World and go to Pod. Which makes sense, because he can finish it. He may or may not have only 3
Can he
keys.
finish it? No, he doesn't have enough keys.
Well, I mean, we'll see when he gets in. It's really hard to... what?
He's going to Ice Palace.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was so confused for a moment there. Yeah, so he can finish this. So this makes perfect sense. And I don't know if he has the knowledge that it's a pendant. But, you know, a dungeon you can finish is always pretty appealing. And this is actually, yeah, pretty good because he's going to find all the pod keys in here. He didn't have the hammer beforehand, so I think he'll pick up 2 more. And then that will make pod pretty enticing.
Yep.
Fant coming back to the Death Mountain save. Could maybe be showing us Spike Cave, or maybe... No, he
just went to Spike Cave.
Aha! I might have almost seen that, but apparently not quite. Now the really rough thing I think for weffjebster in this situation, since he's missing the hammer, he'll find at least 1 pod key here in Ice with this hammerless clear of as much as you can do. And then that might say, okay, well, I can check a couple more chests in pod, but we know it's not going to lead to anything. Though in his mind, you know, that might be all he can do. When you think you've checked Hera Basement, or, you know, we're unable to check Hera Basement, rather, but you do know that pod has some locked doors. You can see a long walk and some disappointment. Because no hammer, can't flute there, have to walk all the way across the Dark World. Ouch. Alright, so bomb jump there in Ice Palace from Vula, why the heck not? And Fantallis will be heading to Swamp and finding the next set of progression. You know, it's a kind of a bit of a shame. Sorry, go ahead.
I am a little surprised by this move from Vula, with the ability to complete Meyer going to... He might not know that this is a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, I don't think we found this out from the map. I think we only found it out from Fantallis' completion, so... And I don't believe that Vula knows the Meyer medallion. Well, of course, because he doesn't have the flute. Gosh.
He has the flute, he just hasn't used it.
Right, yeah, it's not active yet. So this could be a play he's just following through on. Like, after Swamp, he was thinking, okay, I'll do Pyramid Fairy and then I'll do Ice, and he's just following through on that, which makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. You don't want to save and quit a bunch of times and lose time because of it.
Mm-hmm. And the worst case scenario, of course, is forgetting a location because maybe you thought you did it from some earlier thing you were intending to do, and changing your mind too much can make it harder to remember. And then you get into the situation which, unfortunately, weffjebster is going to be in, where you think you've done everything and your progression was somewhere that you did not actually do. So we've got kind of a bit of a trade here between Fantallis and Vulajin, all doing things that each other have done. So we won't see anything new for a while.
Yeah. If you're Vulajin here, do you, after finishing this, do you go Pod or Meyer?
First I would go activate my flute while I think about it, and then...
Well, the thing is, from where he is, he can go Meyer without using the flute. Not Meyer. You can never go Meyer without using the flute. Pod without using the flute.
That's true. But unless you think you're never going to activate it, it seems like it's a good play. You know, fluting to 5 versus running from here. I think I'd prefer the flute. Especially since you have to mirror out of ice and then walk to 5. But, he will have enough pod keys to do the full clear since he did the hammer jump. So that will be enticing. He also, can full clear Meyer if he has the right medallion, and having not seen it yet, we'll definitely have to see what he opts for. And Pod maybe... I guess Pod is a little unappealing, because would you really want to go back and do the hammer jump again just to check the big chest that you already hammer jumped to once and couldn't check? I could see putting it off just to, reduce the possibility of having to check that one off. Like, maybe you can do Meyer first and then be in go mode by the time you go to Pod. weffjebster trying an unbuffered hammer jump there. Unfortunately missed it just now, so he's going to have to reset and try again. He's going to open Harmless Hellway, grab that full heart there, and go around, get another shot most likely. So Vula will activate the flute first, and then we'll see what the choice is, Pod or Meyer. I think they're both pretty good plays. Maybe Meyer is a little stronger since he's never been there at all, so more items available, but we'll see. So weffjebster number 2. This is a really hard trick to do unbuffered. Doesn't get it the second time. Most people will opt for, pause buffer spam to make sure they're on the right pixel, because the bomb has to be placed on a certain pixel and you have to move up a certain number of pixels to get it to work. But going for it unbuffered it takes guts, and weffjebster is going for it again, so hopefully he gets it this time. Oh boy, there's 2 bombs. Oh my gosh. Oh no. It looks like Vulajin's choice was Meyer. So I guess now that all's said and done, the seed is kind of maybe boiled down to a bit of a follow the leader type thing. I think Vulajin has the lead overall, fantallis in second, Fant in third, and unfortunately weffjebster, because of that hammer miss, is going to be in for some pain.
Yeah.
And because of the way these races work, the races are actually 2 1v1s between fantallis and Fant, and Vulajin and weffjebster. But we get to watch 4 people, which is nice, because I think these 1v1s have become a little one-sided, perhaps. I completely missed the mushroom on the Turtle Rock in the roller room. Nobody ever checked that. But Vulajin's had it for a while. There it is on his tracker. So fantallis probably has it as well, having gone through there. Just hard to catch everything with 4 screens.
Yep. It looks like the answer is Meyer before Pod.
Yep. Does the
Go ahead.
I was just saying, does the quick, Meyer shed and checkerboard caves checks first, and then it's gonna go in. Well, we'll see new stuff in Meyer, because everybody else who went in so far did not have a big key. So we'll get the Vitreous kill, we'll get the big chest, all that good stuff.
That's strange. Vulajin didn't find a single Meyer key before coming into here. Did anyone?
I don't think so, and he's gonna try to do the road as if he has one, and then realizes, oh my gosh, really? I don't have one? And then he's gonna go over to do the, the more standard / open mode, non-Keysanity route, I should say, where you come here first.
I 100% would have done exactly the same thing.
Yeah, because it's nice and fast to go to the left first. It's more efficient overall. So you like to do that. One little note of a kind of cool, efficient play that Lula's doing is I don't think he's going to check this chest to the north. Because he has the big key, he can hookshot across to it instead when he goes down to Vitreous, which saves you a couple screen transitions at least. That was the powder chest, so that'll actually be kind of a nice pickup at the end. I don't think he's too worried about Vitreous with, Tempered Sword and Red Mail, but if you were a bit low on health, there's a couple anti-fairies that grabbed that powder in the basement, so always a nice thing to have in your back pocket. Speaking of that mushroom, it was nothing, but
yeah, the small key above this room, the small chest above this room, that was nothing, right? So the entire left side of Meyer is basically not worthwhile?
Right. I think, what was the vanilla big key? It was something not very good. Maybe like a bee in a bottle or something like that. But I could be thinking of some other seed. All I know is the only actual sort of useful item in Meyer was powder, and it didn't lead anywhere. But we will see that big chest and Vitreous pretty soon. Ether from Sahasrara, that might help in a different seed where we didn't already have the medallions we needed.
Yep.
So we get a bit of a split here. Fantallis coming to that same decision as Vula. Do I go to Meyer or do I go to Pod? Fantallis picks Pod. Should be a quick finish here because, well, has already checked most of this. I guess the decision is, do you go back to that big chest or not?
They have two big keys left to get.
Yeah, and he's gonna go check it first. I wouldn't mind maybe killing Helmasaur first and then doing this, just in case. Well, it doesn't really matter because you're not gonna get put into go mode by a single item. And leaving things behind is terrifying. This is the hammer jump, but is able to reset it pretty quickly using that bottom door. And we'll be using pause buffers to get through, trying to find that right pixel. For all the time it adds, having to do this series of pauses, I think it's definitely worth it to get this trick and save a key. In Keysanity, it's a really, really good jump to learn. Kind of similar to how good the Ice Palace Bomb jump is when you're just learning, open or standard randomizer for the first time.
In the base game, wait, it's a big key to where?
Swamp Palace. It's a one-off item. A horrible revisit. And a forced horrible revisit, I believe?
Yeah,
I don't
because
remember where the pod key was.
The pod key was in Swamp Palace.
Oh gosh. Man, nobody wants to drain the water again to just check the big key in Swamp. That is terrible. If that has, the GT, they have the GT big key.
Either Desert Palace or Hera big key.
Yeah, or Fire Rod.
Oh god, Fire Rod.
Alright, so I completely blanked and missed what was in the big chest in Meyer. But I'm not thinking it was anything crazy. Just let me check the tracker again real quick. I don't see any new big keys, so probably nothing crazy.
That's what we're looking for, so.
Big 20, thank you, chat, for having my back on that. So the Vitreous kill is the first, one new thing we have coming up, and Fantallis' visit into the bottom of Pod to take out Helmasaur. So we'll have 2 new boss kills, 2 new items to see soon. Fant and weffjebster both taking a look at ice. Now, okay, what can weffjebster do in ice?
He can't do anything.
No hammer. This is when you're really at the end of your rope, because he's getting bottlenecked by that check that he thought he couldn't do. And it could be a while until he realizes that he has to go back up there. It's completely out of your mind. It's so hard to play from this position, and it happens to everybody who plays rando at some point. So some synced up, but different. Actually, 3 people fighting a boss right now. Who's gonna win the boss fight? Probably fantallis, given that
Well, it's the easiest boss fight, so...
Yeah. Vulajin trying to go for the spin boosts into the poison to damage Vitreous, but poking a couple eyes, annoyingly. Has plenty of health, so should be feeling okay. Has the
This
bow.
boss. Oh my goodness, this boss.
It's just really awful. Fant also dealing with some eyes. Different ones, but, you know, those puffballs are basically just eyes. Small key to pod on Vitreous, so that doesn't help at all, because that's Vulajin's 6th pod key and he won't be using that. Unless he wants to not hammer jump when he goes back to check that big chest, he'd have the option to. And that would give him his Swamp Big Key, which I think will be in the dark as to what that is for quite a while, because these guys have much better things to do than a revisit to Swamp for 1 item.
Do they really? I mean, once pod is done in, so...
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, you're right. They have to trade dungeons first. Lula has to do pod, fantallis has to do mire. And then, yeah, what is left at that point? The small key to desert showed up, so there is that.
I'm surprised that Vula didn't do that while he was in the area.
That's true.
He was probably banking on either Pod or Mire having something, which is, you know, fair.
It's not a bad choice. It's a lot of items as well, because, you know, he could go back into desert, but he can't clear it. He knows he can clear pod. He has so many keys now, and I don't believe he's checked either of the 1-for-1s. So it's a lot more items over here. A short flute back over to desert is not so bad. It's always really nice. This seed was not nice to them, but it's always really nice in Keysanity when you get an early flute, because there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of potential double dips, and having the flute just makes that a lot less painful. I say that, but our runners were walking for pretty much an hour. Weffjebster. Oh, he did have one thing he could check in ice here. He could come back and get the big chest. He didn't have the big key first time he went through, I guess. So
Yep.
He got whatever useless item was in there, and then bunked the wall a few times, and... we'll see what's next. Hit 1. Go back to Hera. You got this.
Come on, Jeff. You can do it.
It's so hard, dude. You have no idea. He clicked 1, though. He's going in the right direction. He's going in the wrong direction. Oh no. There's nothing left over here, I think, for him, but it's close to the right place. So...
He
this...
can't do Turtle Rock.
Yeah, no hammer.
Can't get in.
Can't use the portal even. Stops for a moment, maybe thinking, oh crap. Vula's... Yeah, he's gonna use that 6th pod key and just walk... No, of course. He hasn't done Harmless Hollow, I think. He might still hammer jump, we'll see.
It saves time.
Yeah, that's true. And he got it first try last time, so we might see it again. But of course it makes more sense to do Harmless Hallway first, because otherwise you're walking all the way back here. So Weffjebster's gonna check Spiral Cave. I think he did this before, but at this point all you can do is retrace your steps. Think, oh, did I forget this? Did I forget that? Did not check Spiral Cave, so did locate something that hadn't been done. Grabs the Cane of Burna. It's not progression, so he's gonna take his frustrations out on this stone wall.
Yep. Remember, stress relieving tactic is get head against wall until you are no longer stressed or unconscious. Those are the choices.
Now he was dashing in the correct direction, going
Yes.
towards Hera, but Mountain Cave. Not the flute.
No!
Not the
No!
flute.
No!
No! Oh man, what do you do now? Oh gosh, that's brutal. So meanwhile, what's going on elsewhere? We're just seeing fantallis and Vulajin trade places, do the dungeons that each other have done. Fant is making the swamp play. He'll be getting his progression here in the form of, well, the Desert's Palace small key, which we're not sure is needed yet, but is logically needed at least. And with those big keys and all that other good stuff that was in here. You know, in situations like this, like when the randomizer just really messes you up, like it did for especially Weff, but also Fant having to do Aga for no real huge gain this seed. It is kind of nice that we have a four-way race here, because this is actually kind of a nice race between fantallis and Vulajin right now. I'd be hard-pressed to say who's in the lead, because they both have... I guess Vulajin is probably a little ahead, because he has to just do a couple more rooms, and fantallis will take a while to get to Vitreous, but they're close between the two of them.
The big thing is that one thing that puts fantallis sort of in the running is the fact that he is already in the area to check Desert Palace, and we don't know if that's required, but I mean that feels like what the next choice is.
Yeah, it's two good items there, and what are our other options really? What else showed up?
Swamp Palace, big key, big chest.
Yes, that nightmare. So I think we'll probably see Vula Flute to Desert after Pod, and they'll be pretty close, probably both checking Desert right side, because it makes way more sense to do Desert right side than Swamp big.
Yep.
But
Weff stealing the key.
Okay, this actually could be a really big play for him, because we know that there's a high chance of progression here. Unfortunately, all it might do is lead him away from the hammer, which is going to have to happen eventually. And
I gotta hope for him that it's the Harabig.
Yeah. It's the cape. That gives you silvers, that's it. So it is Swamp Big Chest. It hurts. It really hurts. I guess Weff can go get silvers, but that doesn't help, so he's thinking about his options right now. Now, there's a faint chance Cape, if you think about Spike Cave, which you can't do because you don't have the hammer, Spike Caves are right next to Hera, so maybe he could go back there. Bula's going to Desert, fantallis is finishing up Vitreous, so they're both going to get the bad news, and be on their way hand in hand to a desert revisit, rather. They're already doing that. A swamp revisit. Unless one of them didn't check and see silvers, it's been a while. I know a few people did look at it, but perhaps not everybody checked or remembered about the cave. So we might see somebody go up there with the cape and say, okay, this is it, and then get silvers and be a little perplexed. Weffjebster went back and checked the library, which was just 50 rupees, but that's all you can do at this point is like, I forgot something. I just need to recheck stuff. Vula grabs the cape, mirrors fast. What's it gonna be, Vula? Bumper Cave or Swamp? He's going fast. I think he remembers about Swamp. You know, he just got that big key, so... Oh, he hasn't done the mushroom yet. Okay, well that's first. Maybe a little bit of a shopping trip.
I feel like fantallis has done these things already.
Yeah, though. I think you're right. So we may... This might be like a way closer race between our left side players than I'd originally thought. Vula's not going to shop. He doesn't need any of that Gatorade. Flute? Probably 4? Or 3? There must be something else he didn't do here. And by that I mean...
The back of Skullwoods.
Oh yeah, he did skip this oh so long ago, you're right. But going down instead...
Oh, he's mirroring that.
Okay, well... Forgetting you have the hammer is, you know, not the worst thing that you can do with the hammer, as evidenced in this seed. Fantallis is heading to bat as well. Oh, hammer pegs, okay.
And probably mirroring that as well.
Actually, have we seen hammer pegs yet?
Yeah, we have. It's nothing.
Okay. I knew there was a late hammer, so I wasn't quite sure. It's a big key, though.
I was wrong.
Wait a sec.
I was 100% wrong.
The desert? Holy smokes. We both completely missed that.
Yup.
Wow, okay, so Vula knew what he was doing. We're all like, yeah, he's mirroring bat. This is so inefficient. Dang, Vula. But no, hammer pegs is the answer to the question of, is this maybe the progression? Got Lanmo and the big chest. Open in logic. And Fantallis did not do hammer pegs, so it might be going swamp. Here we go. This might be a little bit of a disappointment. We thought this was the only answer, but man, hammer pegs. When you did blacksmiths like an hour or more than an hour ago, remembering that is really good. So Fan's making his way through some dungeons, doing the pod clear, probably the mire clear afterwards. And Fantallis and Vula will be showing us 2 possible places for, you know, something like the fire rod to perhaps pop up. So we're going to see big chest from desert first, and then Vula will be going to Lanmo as Fantallis gets the good or bad news from swamp. This is good for Vula, though. I think remembering locations in this order is going to be a bit of an advantage for him, because you're going to have to do desert anyways, the crystal. So even if this is the answers in swamp, I mean, Vula will probably go there next, and Fantallis will eventually have to come back over to desert to Lanmo for the crystal. The only good news for Weff, and I mean there isn't much right now, is that at least stealing that desert key is not going to really bite him by having it in some awful spot, because it was fairly available. It was in some dungeon that I think people just kind of... Yeah, okay, it was left swamp, so I suppose that is skippable, but in Keysanity most people will clear that.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to see the last 2 options, as far as I know, pretty quickly here. Lanmo and the swamp big chest. So let's take a look at Fantallis. He grabs a small key to mire. It's completely useless. Oh goodness. So Lanmo, what
Lanmo
you
has
got,
progression.
buddy?
He's got to. Fire rod or
Hera big key, or skull big key if it wanted to be super nasty. Or, you know, pick fetch quest of your choice, which at this point is just the shovel.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Fantallis is heading to ice, probably to get the big chest.
Yeah.
Big key to Hera. So the seed is not done with him just yet. No nice and easy fire rod for you. You gotta go to Hera first.
No, Hera's actually the nicer thing. If it were fire rod, they might need to finish Skull Woods to get the big key.
You raise a very good point there. I was tunnel visioning on the item, but you're right. Going to Hera is nice. You get the crystal, you gotta do this anyways. Now if the seed's kind, it won't send them back down to Skull. You'll get the fire rod up here, and you can actually just go Turtle Rock to GT, which is pretty sweet, actually. When do you ever get to do Turtle Rock, then GT and Keysanity?
Where's Vula going at this point?
Good question. Maybe he wants silvers.
I don't blame him. That seems to be what he's doing. Castle Tower has been checked. It was nothing.
Yep, Castle Tower has been checked in all too much thoroughness, unfortunately. Our right side runners both cleared Aga. Alright, so Vula's gonna grab silvers. Actually, I don't know the timing of this. This may very well save time, how much it reduces Ganon's final phase. Versus going all the way over here. I wasn't sure if it did with tempered or not, but you know, it's definitely not a bad play.
Based on the fact that NMG doesn't get silvers, I'm gonna go with it doesn't save time.
Yeah, that's true. But you have to do pyramid parry. That's maybe slower than this. I don't know. I guess you have a.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, egg is dead. You're right. So that pyramid parry is pretty fast. It's probably only with master that this would save time, but it definitely makes Ganon easier. So, and you know, when you've been playing a seed for 2 hours and maybe you don't quite remember what was on Bumper Cave, you're thinking, okay, there was something good there, but what was it? You know, you just want to go back and make sure. It would be very painful to have forgotten that it was Fire Rod and go up here without it. So Fantallis approaching the big chest of ice, all business, just gonna mirror out. I think Fantallis has a list of things to do, and is unfortunately just checking them off
In the
wrong order. Hammer pegs is the answer. It's definitely a lot faster of a check than those, and as I say that, sitting in the menu, so maybe like us, you know, kind of grouped up hammer pegs smiths in his mind, and did that a long time ago, and was like, yeah, I've done that, you know?
Yeah. This gives Fant a chance to catch up, because Fant is, like, clearing these dungeons very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think we might be a little behind on dungeon progression. That's almost how you pronounce that word. Dungeon progression for Fant.
We definitely are, because
he's done pod. I'm pretty sure he's done ice as well. Because he was in there earlier. And he's definitely done ice. Fighting the eyeballs. He's definitely done ice, okay. So yeah, this is closer than we might think. Because, you know, who knows how long it's going to take Fantallis to remember hammer pegs. Now, Fant has to as well. Okay, Fantallis is moving. Is this hammer pegs flute to 3? That's how the, you know, the jingle goes when you're lost, you flute to 3. I'm sure there's a rhyme for it that I've heard before, but I don't
there's so much in 3. That's, if it's not a rhyme, it should be. We have Fire Rod for Vulajin, that puts us in go mode.
Oh, nice.
And based on where he is, he can just like hop over to Turtle Rock, finish that, and hop right up back over to Ganon's tower.
Yeah, super efficient at the very end here. So the seed was like, okay, I was mean enough, fine, you can have your nice single Death Mountain climb after you did probably like 4 or 5 climbs earlier. So just over to Turtle Rock, complete go mode Turtle Rock. He's cleared everything except for the Fire Rod chests, which I'm sure he'll skip. And, you know, Trinex himself. We know the last sword is on pedestal. Only weffjebster among these runners knows that, because he went out of his way to do a pedestal check earlier. Nobody's had cause to go to the bag of skull, obviously, because Vulajin just got the Fire Rod here at 2 hours. And yeah, so Fantallis grabbing these silvers here.
Gives him time to think.
Yeah, I really had hoped that when he went 3 and into the Dark World, that was the hammer peg play. But wait, maybe... Oh, wait, was it? Did he already do that? Am I missing everything? Or did he just go straight up here? He's gonna check
he never
Lumberjack.
checked up here, I don't think.
Oh, man. I'm really glad that this isn't like a small key or something, because we might see, to top off the 2 1-hour Agas, a 2-hour Aga, if that was a key up there. Like, oh man, maybe I need the Lumberjack.
What could it possibly be a key to that he would need Lumberjack to?
Well, I mean, if it was a big key, if it was the Skull Big Key, and he saw a big key there, and like, you know, the Desert Key is the answer, right? He'd just be like, oh, it could be the Desert Key. He might go do Aga, but it's just $20. We haven't seen the Skull Key. It's probably in GT somewhere. So yeah, he's got to remember hammer pegs. He's in 3. It's the right location. Just has to get to the Dark World and make that play down there. And
it seems to be where he's headed.
Yeah, much else. Fant dealing with Vitreous now, giving them the old tempered spins, and probably some bow to finish him off nice and quick. Fantallis going in the right direction, heading down. Man, this is actually closed up really fast. Fant is done. Vitreous. If he goes straight to hammer pegs, Fantallis is not going to be far ahead, but yeah, Fantallis making the play now. Does have a lead over Fant. going into this last little bit. Oh man, weffjebster is on Death Mountain again. Very close to Tower of Hera. This could be the moment. Rechecking, making sure, yeah, that's just a piece of heart. You're so close to Hera. Go in there.
Hera, Jeff! Come on!
Yes. Don't flute. No, don't flute.
No!
I don't. Good. Switch to the mirror. He totally thinks he's done it. He's even like, the thing is, his menu betrays him, right? Because he sees like Light World Dungeon 3, 0 keys. Can't open the door, but it's already open. That's so rough. That's so rough.
He's literally like circling around the thing he needs to do. Come on, Jeff.
Oh man, he's so close. These Tektites are gonna feel his wrath. Got Trinex going for Vulajin here. The Ice Head gets off a shot, but it's dead, and that shouldn't get too much in the way. He'll probably be able to take out the last phase quick. So, fantallis progressing. Fant might be making that quick play on Hammer Pegs. We'll have to see where he goes. Yeah, he has... I don't remember where Cape was, so I don't know if he... doesn't have it on his tracker, so this is probably Hammer Pegs rather than a silver check. I would hope. Let's see, down or up? Down. So directly to Hammer Pegs for Fant, that's what he needed. Fantallis definitely has a lead coming here, but Fant made up a lot of time with Fantallis' visits back into Swamp and Ice. And I think Fant's path forward is going to get paved because, you know, he has every dungeon done except for Desert, you know, Skull, which he won't go to, and Hera TR. So this takes him directly to Desert, which Fantallis is doing now, and then the path to the end is very clear from then on.
Yep.
Weff is so close. He's spinning just a couple screens away from the answer, but...
Like, this is the screen of the answer.
Yeah. It's just so rough because he thinks exactly like, I don't have the Hera small key, I can't do it, and that's why he left. Just like a little, you know, glitch in the matrix. You know, your brain sets out 1 to a 0, and then you're doomed. Fantallis ripping Landmo to shreds, gets the Hera big key. The path is clear. You go to Hera as Vulajin makes his way up the gauntlet. So Vulajin, the first one to wrestle through the horrifying things that the seed has done to all of our players. He'll be cleaning things up fairly shortly.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you missed it earlier, exactly what happened to Weff was he used the key to get into Tile Room, and then he checked his menu, and I guess had some moment of, you know, just forgetting what he just did. It was like, oh, I don't have a key for Hera, and he mirrored out. So it's the worst situation you could imagine. And yeah, 3 of our runners have found the linear path forward. Weff is unfortunately still searching for it, and I think even with the hammer, there's still quite a little bit in store. You know, having to get to Hammer Pegs alone with a fresh hammer, that's a pretty good location to go to, and you know, can finish off a few dungeons, ice, pod, that kind of stuff. Every time the flute menu comes up and it defaults to 1, I have this shred of hope, but that's just where it starts. It's not actually a conscious decision to go back to Hera. Vulajin making short work of this gauntlet. Nice one cycle on those whiz robes there. Has fantallis. Not quite in go mode yet, but in about one spin slash. Oh, the first one was a poke. Alright, 2 spin slashes.
Yeah.
Will be.
Wait, did he skip the chest with the fire rod?
No way, Moldarm had it, didn't he?
No. It was the Moon Pearl chest.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, I don't think he did. I think.
Okay, yeah, he wouldn't be going here if he didn't have it. Okay, yeah, he has it. Whew. Everything's fine. The moment of panic there at the end. That would have been huge for Fan. The one on the right, that is. If fantallis had stepped out without it, but fantallis still holding a strong lead in his race. Vulajin may be taking first overall, almost certainly here, but fantallis has a good lead in that 1v1 against Fant up top. With the same equipment going into GT, both on tempered. Oh, and actually fantallis has silvers. I don't think Fant did that, so, you know, even a further advantage for fantallis there. Definitely a good position to be in your race. But who knows what can happen. It's always unnerving in these races. You're going up GT, and nobody is done yet. He'll probably be kind of in the cutscene area. He'll see Vula finish and be like, man, oh man, oh man. Because you gotta kind of look over and freak out a bit and see if it was your opponent and it wasn't. And you're like, oh crap, Vula finished. I need to finish soon. Vula's Aga 2. Got some hits in. I think I missed counting, but finishes off with a double there, so takes him out. Be on to the Ganon fight. So, Kemps, what pun do you think we're gonna get from Ganon today, or what Ganon text rather?
I think he's related somehow.
All right, I'll go with the cheese facts. We'll have to wait on the edge of our seats. Let's see what we got. Whole grain breakfast. Well, we were talking about checks earlier, so maybe we get half a point for that one?
Sure, we'll give ourselves half a point.
Yes. It brings me up to half of a point.
Yeah, fake internet points are worth basically nothing when you can get them like bunches for free on some of the websites.
Nice second phase from Vula there, getting inside the fire circle and getting some double spins off, so that's already phase 2 down. Oh, knocked away by the fire bats though. Does not get comboed by fire bat chains from Ganon.
Which is fortunate, of course.
Yeah. Now, I gotta say, it's kind of nice. It was quite a few versions of the Rando ago, but it's nice that the Ganon teleports are back in. Because they are fair for everybody, and there's less of getting completely infinited by the fire bat spam in phase 3 when you got off track, because you would just never teleport and always throw a fire bat. But Vula's through that, he picks up Torch Glitch, he's got Silver, he's got Tempered. This should be a quick phase 4. Gets a double there, one more Torchlight, and Ganon's gonna be toast.
GT to Vulajin.
Yep. So Vula, letting the fanfare play out, walks into the door, and has finished with an official SRL time of 2:13:51. With a seed like this, that's honestly quite solid. And at the same moment, Weff has had enough, and he throws in the towel on that one, which you cannot blame him for because he has no idea where to go. And yeah, that's rough. So we still got a race on our hands on the top side of things. But Fantallis with a pretty big lead. Fant has to finish up GT, or TR rather. They both have to finish GT, obviously. Fantallis will be entering shortly, so these guys still going at it. But we'll talk to our players in a little bit once they get some of themselves, composed and recover from that seed just a little bit.
And we have weffjebster.
There.
How are you feeling?
Where's I don't know where Hammer is.
It's the basement of Hera. You went halfway and then just left.
Why did I do that?
It
we
was
don't
really
know.
brutal. You opened the door to tile room and then opened your menu, and I think at that moment you were like, "Oh, I don't have the Hera small key," and then you mirrored out, but you'd already
Oh
burned
my
the small
God.
key. So yes, that was rough.
That'll do it. Yeah, I was really confused because I was like, I could swear I picked up the Hera small key. I had it marked on my tracker and everything.
Yeah, and then it's just at that point, all you can do is what you did, like go backtrack, check horrible revisits and hope it's there. But man, that was rough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I just blanked. I've just been like so checked out today. Like I wasn't even supposed to be racing today. I tried to drop and they scheduled me anyway.
Yeah. Well, with hundreds of people, miss either way. But good job for you for doing the race like after you got scheduled. And
I was like, whatever, I'll do it. What's the worst that could happen? And I'm like, okay.
Now you know.
I'm sitting on crystals 5 and 6 and the lamp and both castle tower keys, and I'm like, well, maybe Hammer's in Pyramid Fairy.
We were actually kind of thinking that Hammer would be in Pyramid Fairy, and if it was, you would have been put pretty far ahead actually at that point in time.
And I got Flute there, and I was like, well, maybe Hammer's behind Flute. And it was just like this string of just, maybe it's behind this. And I honestly was expecting to get Hammer in Meyer. That's like what I was expecting to happen. But clearly, if you use a key and then you
mirror out immediately.
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if I was just like blanking out. So I actually went down to the tile room and then mirrored out.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Why did I do that?
I think you can be forgiven for enduring that much of that seed and then making one mistake and having it just completely destroy you. But yeah, you made some good plays. Like you were way in advance of anybody to do Aga, which turned out to actually be unnecessary. But we at the time were like, oh man, the Pyramid Fairy play, this is gonna be it.
I figured because really it was the first 2 dungeons that were completable were the 2 red crystals, and I was like, this is too much of a signal to not follow. And I was there because I was there checking Aga Tower's chests anyway, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna do Aghanim. And when it gave me Flute, I was like, you know what, maybe Hammer's buried deep in some really weird location, and Flute is required for like Meyer, which, I mean, Meyer was a crystal, so I was like, well, maybe this doesn't hurt me that much that I did Aghanim. Like, maybe I took a shortcut here, but man, I just can't believe I did that. I've played so much Randomizer, and I don't know how I make a dumb mistake like that. That's really embarrassing.
Well, there's a first time for everything, and we can all learn from that. Don't mirror out of Hera.
Don't mirror out of Hera after you use the key.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? That's so frustrating to me as a rando player that I would do something silly like that. But oh well.
Hey man, at least you didn't just forget that checkerboard cave existed.
Vula, even though you forgot that, you still won this race.
Yeah, no, I mean that was a different race, but whew.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry to come in and hear that's what got you. That sucked so much, dude. Oh god.
I don't know what I was thinking. I honestly have no idea. Like I guess I just thought like, oh wait, I can't do this. I don't have the Hera small key. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking.
The tragedy is if you had, went to your menu just before you opened the door, you would have seen the key there, but you went just after you opened the door, and then I think it was just like, oh, don't have the small key. Can't do hair basements without a small key. I'm out of here.
Yeah, the thing is, it was on my tracker. I honestly, I'd have to go back to the VOD and see like what my order of things that I did was, because it was on my tracker. I had it on my tracker, and then I demarked it when I was like, oh, I guess I don't have it.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, in your defense, Vulajin played very, very well.
I mean,
Yeah, Vulajin might not think so, and I know I've been in Vulajin's case having someone tell me that I played well and I didn't. I felt like I didn't. But Vulajin, you won the race against both of the 2-2s by kind of a large margin.
10 minutes.
Jeez, dude.
I mean, it seems like that makes you feel like you played badly, I think, but there was only so much you could do with what it gave you.
Well, the only thing that I really felt badly about was the deaths in Turtle Rock. Like, I could have played the area a little bit safer and not taken the deaths. I had so many potions, and I mean, obviously I couldn't read ahead and like predict that the seed was going to give me the males. And actually, I assumed it wasn't going to. So like early on, I was like playing a little safe because I was like, I think that I'm never going to get males because I'm getting all these hearts. But then it was just like, oh yeah, and, you know, now that you've gone through Turtle Rock with green, here's both blue and red. So
yeah,
okay.
A funny little quirk about it is everybody except for you visited the swamp first chest as their blue male, without having the swamp small key, of course.
Oh gosh.
So that's how much everybody else was getting driven into a corner by this seed. That was a reasonable play at the time that they did it.
Yeah, this was a very aggressive seed in terms of like, I'm going to give you nothing and you're gonna like it and you're gonna check every last like one-off location. Which I actually, like the entire time I kind of assumed that was going to make it less likely that I would be able to win, because because of the deaths that I took and the play to like go into ice early when I didn't have the hammer and so on, like I thought there was a pretty good likelihood that I was going to have to win a seed like this on routing, because of the fact that I was like 100% seed. But I guess it just kind of worked out for me.
Yeah, actually, nobody managed to avoid the ice double dip. Fantallis went in with the hammer on his first pass, but eventually came back to get the big chest again because he didn't have the ice key from wherever it was. And Fantallis looks like he's clinched this race out. He manages to take out Ganon with a couple silver shots. Fan close behind is going to egg a 2 now, but Fantallis had that lead. He managed to remember hammer pegs in time and take this one down. So there's Fantallis finishing up with an official SRL time of 2:22:21, just 1 second too fast.
His timer says 2:22:22.
We'll take that one.
Sure.
I'm pretty happy with being able to come out with the victory. I wish that I hadn't had to apparently take advantage of my opponent having one of those unfortunate moments, because I know exactly how those are, and God, it feels so bad, dude.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing on my stream right now, but I'm taking my aggressions out on the Bombos medallion here.
Yeah, well, I think you can hold your head high on this one, Vula, because you know your race may have been a foregone conclusion with the hammer trauma, but you still won the race overall against a couple of people who were 2-2 in the tournament as well. So, you know, that's nice play. So you can definitely be happy about your performance.
I mean, I'm gonna rub this in with Fant later on, so for sure.
And we have Fantallis joining us now as well. GG. Good job of finishing that nightmare of a seed. Or we may be joined by Fantallis in a moment once, you know, Discord.
He's not muted yet. Or his mic isn't muted.
Yeah. Well, he'll be here soon. So finishing up Ganon here. Just gonna use the Cane of Burna. I mean, we got it from somewhere silly like Spiral Cave. Might as well give it some love. And take out phase 2 of Ganon. Fant doesn't have silvers, so he will have to save a bit of this magic for a couple torchlights in the last phase.
Did he see?
I lied. Wait, no, never mind. I looked at the menu as it opened up. And that was on weffjebster's screen. So yeah, Fant does not have silvers.
I'm sure he did see that silvers were on Bumper Cave. I mean, you did have to check a lot of things to even finish the seed.
Yeah,
we
probably.
were debating if it was worth it to get silvers, given that you already had tempered, but everybody else opted to grab them. So
Yeah, I figured there was a good chance everyone was going to, and I wanted to get them on. Like, there was a Kakariko visit I did late in the game, the one where you go to the bat, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna loop it in with that, and then I forgot, and then I did desert. I'm like, no, I really want this.
yeah, that's definitely a fair play. When you went into the dark world there, oh,
Oh man, Fantallis, we're
Fantallis.
getting your game audio. instead of you. That was pretty good.
Audio's tough. Audio's tough. But yeah, anyways, when you went and got the desert key, we all thought that, well, we had forgotten hammer pegs along with everybody else except for you at that point. And we're like, okay, he's gonna grab silvers. Oh, he's going down. He's gonna mirror the bat. Why is he mirroring the bat? He has the hammer. And then you checked hammer pegs and you got the progression, and we were all wowed.
Yeah, that was definitely a case where I had to keep intense track of like a whole lot of crap in the seed, like one-offs that I had left behind. So I was making sure that I was not going to get bitten by that again. So I think I did a pretty okay job there.
Vulajin, have you started using a map tracker?
No.
Man, last
Someday.
week I could swear that you said I'm never not using a
I
map tracker.
literally said those exact words. But one, I'm stubborn, and two, yeah, I figured it's the last tournament race, and like I'm not going anywhere, so I might as well just play like I play.
That's fair. weffjebster racing with the big in-game timer to get some art in there. Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Thanks for the race, Vula. I'm glad I could be your jobber for today, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know what the heck. Like, I don't know what it is about tournaments. Like, anybody who like watches me or is like friends with me knows that I'm a competent Link to the Past randomizer runner. But whenever I'm in a tournament, something happens.
Dude,
I've played with you, Jeff.
I mean, we both ended up with
Yeah.
the 1-3 record coming into this
Apparently,
round.
I can hear everybody now.
Hey, we
yo,
can hear
nice.
you too.
Sweet beans. Sorry about that. I have no idea what's going on with my audio setup.
Anyway, good game, Fantallis.
Yeah, thanks. It didn't feel like a very good game. Felt like a very bad game.
You still won.
I think all of us feel that way after this.
Well, that's a thing. No, it just felt like it was just a runaround in the whole thing. I mean, forgetting that peg thing exists didn't help, but honestly,
All of us
Yeah.
did. 100% of people forgot that hammer pegs were a thing.
well, that's the problem with late game hammer is suddenly it's like, what? Where am I? What? I don't know.
Yeah, you think? I mean, you did Smith's like an hour and a half before that. What are you gonna go back there for, right? But if it makes you feel better, you were not one of the two people, Fant and weffjebster, who did Aghanim before getting the hammer from Hera to do a walk around with the big bomb. I just want to note real quick here that Fant's SRL time has some nice symmetry that we were just barely lacking from Fantallis's, finishing with 2:26.26 rather than the slightly frustrating 2:21 that Fantallis got. So we did get some synchronized final digits, and that's, I think, what it's really all about.
yet. Forget the hokey pokey.
Apparently, the pedestal had a sword.
Sorry, Discord just decided to stop sending me your audio again. I have no idea if you asked me a question or anything.
Oh no, we're
Zach
good.
Hop on me today.
Audio's tough, dude. And yes, the pedestal had a sword. weffjebster checked it. Nobody else did because nobody had cause to go to Skull because the fire rod was buried under a mountain of garbage.
And of course, Sigma does the, like, Babe Ruth play of, like, calling unrequired sword on pedestal at the
Yes.
beginning of this.
Dang it, Sig.
Hey,
Come on,
I
dude.
had it in my last race, so I think it's only fair to spread the love a little bit.
It was an interesting scene. It definitely felt a little bit like a Plando in the sense that there was a required Hera triple dip. Like, what? Well,
No, yeah, it was a triple dip. Absolutely.
was there a required item on that first trip? It was a key,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was
There was something
hookshot.
there.
Hookshot was
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. Yep. There's a required triple dip. Like, what is going on in the world, dude?
Is there anything anyone else wants to say about this seed before we call it a night?
I'm
It
just
was
gonna...
awful.
Oh.
That's accurate.
I was just gonna throw in some final thoughts on the tournament. I was kind of hoping to go a little bit better than 2 and 3. I mean, obviously winning the last match was pretty nice, but like it kind of came the same way that I lost my first match, where I just made a boneheaded play in that one, and Wev had a similar sort of moment. So, like, you know, hey man, like, don't feel too awful about that, because like I said, I did the exact same thing to lose my first race. But on the other hand, like, I'm just glad you've gotten to play. I hope people who got to watch me and people who've watched the tournament in general had a good time. That's it.
Absolutely. I definitely had a good time, even though my last race didn't go as well as I would have liked it to. If you've enjoyed watching us, if you've enjoyed watching this race, give our runners a follow. Vulajin and weffjebster.
Hi there. I'm better than this, I promise.
All fans and fantallis, all of these are very, very good Link to the Past runners.
I'm excited for a tournament that is not
Keysanity.
Keysanity. I think everybody's feeling a little burned out at the end of this tournament. It's been nuts.
Yeah, it can be pretty exhausting to play when it can do things like this to you.
And I know our voice isn't quite as smooth as Fantallis's, but if you've enjoyed our commentary, give me and my co-commentator Sigma a follow. Big shout out to our trackers, Cyclone GU and Dragon Master 0283. We can't do it without them. We wouldn't be able to do anything without our trackers, honestly.
Yep, and before we sign off for the night here, I just want to say thanks to the tournament organizers for doing a lot of work to put this kind of thing on and managing all of us unruly volunteers getting some matches shown, because it's, you know, it's a lot of effort and we really do appreciate it. This kind of thing is just awesome. And thanks to the Speed Gaming staff, of course, as well, for all of their assistance, because this stuff's great and I'm really looking forward to the next random tournament.
Absolutely. Anyway, with that, I've been D2 Camps.
I've been Sigma, and our racers, Bula, Fantallis, weffjebster, and Fan. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.